Hey, folks. Chasing the Truth, Shawn G here. And how you guys doing on Halloween week? Just to let you guys know, this Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think Dark Waters is going to do an Occupy Halloween event, which I think I'm going to be talking my usual time, Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time. But I think I will be doing an impromptu co-host kind of guesting with Dark Waters himself on Sunday. And who knows what's going to happen then. But hey, folks, how you guys doing? Hey, faring out to be Aaron Billings. I hope that your ear's doing all right, brother. Scotty, what's up? Edward and Impromptu Truth. What's up? Michelle Ivory. So, just wants to know if this is choose callers in advance. Nope. I have no clue who's going to call me from moment to moment unless they call. So if you want to call, the open lines number is 931-994-6917. This is Open Lines on Chasing the Truth, Shawn G, over on the Paranormal Radio at Dark Waters channel over there as well. Okay, what's going on? Hope you're feeling better. Let's see what's going on over here. All right. Looks like I got everything squared away, I hope. Let's get this other thing up here. Yeah, hit those likes. And yeah, how's it going? Please like, share, and subscribe if you like the vibe. It doesn't cost a thing to like this thing. Or even subscribe, you never know. But yeah, tonight is going to be open lines. Open lines means it's unscreened. And I'm looking for your stories, your truthful stories. And, the easiest way to get in touch with me is 931-994-6917. And, yeah, I come on about 4 minutes early just to say how do, see how everybody's faring and getting along. And let's see what else. Oh, all right, beam me up's over with. I must have overspoke or something like that. Let's see. Oh, wow. Got 13 in here, 22 likes. Holy cow. Can't believe there's a lot of people already loading up here, but I ain't even started yet. To tell you the truth. Wow. What are you guys drinking tonight? I got medium dark roast with some sports water mix to follow up behind it. So, best show out there. Well, I appreciate it there, Michael. Appreciate it. It's one of those things, I like doing it. I like talking to you guys. Do I know from one moment to the next who's going to call in? Heck no, I do not, without a doubt. I have a suspect sensation that Dragon ZW may call in tonight and talk about some of his spooky, scary stories from the hospital and the black-eyed, white-eyed kids that he's got going on with him. But other than that, I have no clue. Bass, what's going on? But yeah, tonight is my usual. You never know what you're going to get when you pick up that phone and say, hey, you're on the air. What's your name and where you're from? Andy, what's going on? So, medium dark roast is my drink for the night. Medium dark roast. I think it's a Walmart brand. Yeah, pretty sure it's a Walmart brand. That's about what I've been getting here lately because heck, you can't get much and nothing else over at Walmart anyway. The shelves are getting bare, folks. And let's go Brandon. That's all I can tell you. Let's go Brandon. Oh, well. So, anything interesting happen to anybody in the chat today? Hey, Sheila, what's up? Anything going on in the chat? Have you seen any kind of UFOs, any dark entities floating around? Anything at all? Ed, let's go Brandon. Yeah, let's go Brandon for sure. And all the crazy crap that's going on in this country. Yeah, definitely. Exclamation point, exclamation point. Let's go, Brandon. That's all I can tell you. I'm here for the long haul. Well, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this tonight, but we'll give her a go. Let's see. I was told to watch The Encounters of the Fifth Kind. It's a new documentary that just came out about a year ago. Does that happen to be about those encounters up in Alaska with owls associated with abductions? As an Aussie, that kills you. Well, I like it. I honestly do. I like that. It's right there. Does my new black kitten count as a dark entity? Well, I would say so. Just depends on what you label as a dark entity. There are Admiothoria, B. Mosses, Among Us, Thanos Snap. Hold on just a second. Gotta grab a quick sip of coffee before it gets too cold. Tom Paul Cajun. And holy cow. I hope everybody's doing all right. Razor Wolf Buddy. Holy cow. I can't believe it. Thank God you're among us. That's all I can tell you, buddy. You are an amazing fellow. Hello from down under. What time is it down there, buddy? Entities, greetings, Chief. I've seen some dark entities and aliens. They're called Australian politicians. Oh my God. Yeah, there you go. And looks like we got our first caller for the night. And give me just a second, caller, get you on the air. And you'll be on the air in 3, 2, 1. And just by the look of the picture, it looks like it's Wes Vick from dogmancams.com. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just wanted to call in and check how everything was going tonight.
Whoops, I had extra speaker on that shouldn't have been on. Had a monitor speaker. But
it happens.
It is what it is. So what's going on with you? How's your new spot holding out?
It's doing pretty good. There is no paranormal nothing here. Only thing that's based on where I'm at is a lot of nothing. I love it.
A lot of nothing. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I have two neighbors. They're both very quiet. They keep to themselves.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm living is kind of a, I'm not going to say I guess it's kind of like an L-shaped trailer kind of old house. It's very interesting to say the least.
Yep. Well, have you found any good Tex-Mex spots down there?
I have actually. I haven't been able to eat at them yet, but I'm figuring once I get a little extra cash, I'm going to try them out. Probably be next month, but hey, believe me, there's a couple of which I have my eyes on.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a little smoke shop. You can get all kinds of stuff down there, too.
You're up in the cigars here lately.
Yeah, actually, well, unfortunately, it's cigarillos, but there's other places I can get cigars without too much of a hitch, not too far from here. So, yeah, I'm doing good on that. I was going to say, I do have a story. Well, it was a real encounter that I had. I don't think it was a cryptid. I don't think it was that, but it was very interesting. I've told this one before, but I figure, keeping on the subject of tonight's show, it was in my old place, and I was doing something. I think I was sitting on my bed, and I heard this snarling right by the window. The thing is, I was living on the second floor, and I didn't know when the heck a dog or anything could have gotten up there.
Okay. So how long was the encounter?
It was very short. It was only maybe a couple of seconds. It was pretty much gone as fast as it had come up. But I'll tell you right now, it didn't scare me by anything, any means. I knew I was protected. I try to keep pretty close to the Lord. I know I was protected, but at the same time, yeah, it didn't scare me, but it surprised me. I was like, how the hell can something like that be so loud close to my window?
That's interesting. That's sort of like that one lady up in the Northeast sent us in a video of a shadow creature or whatever you want to call those things, and took a picture of something that was on top of her house. So did you get a good look at it or just a glimpse?
I didn't get a glimpse of nothing. I just heard it.
Just heard. Okay, well, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
this was not. Yeah, this was. Yeah, this was not a. It was an encounter, but it was not a sighting. You know what I'm talking about? Believe me, I'm kind of glad I didn't see it. But believe me, I seen. I'm saying no. Where I was, I had enough vision. You know, sightings of shadow people enough as it is. I ain't needing help with anything like that.
Oh Lord. Well, maybe it won't be so paranormally active there like your other place. That's for sure.
Well, the
That's what
thing
I'm.
is, there was. I'll tell you one of the reasons it was so paranormal out there. There was actually three reasons. Number one was many people had died where I was living because you were basically dealing with low income and also a lot of folks who had sicknesses, addictions, things like that. And I knew of a couple of them who had passed on. Hell, there was a lady I would talk to on a regular basis. She passed on. I saw her taken out in a freaking glad bag. That's one thing
Oh
I never.
geez.
Yeah, it was bad. So I mean, it's only that was one of the reasons I believe. Actually, the first room I'd rented out in that or rented out in that place, some dude had died of an overdose before I even moved in. So I mean, it. Yeah, I mean, also, it wasn't just stuff like that. It was also by a train. I was living right by a train yard. That's another reason because I've
Hmm.
noticed that it seems to be a lot of paranormal activity, like on train yards and near, and I don't know why. They just seem to be a conduit. That's just my own personal belief, and it's just I've noticed, at least where I was, this kind of a theory. I could totally be wrong, but I believe very firmly that I believe that was one reason. The third biggest reason, other than the first one, was I was living right by a graveyard.
Oh
One of the
yeah.
old, yeah, one of the oldest in Houston. I want to say, uh, there was a bunch of folks who had died, like I would say at least this place was at least 100, 200 years old. I mean, it had been around. I mean, only natural that you're going to be dealing with all kinds of stuff like that. Basically, the entire place I was living, I think, was a giant portal. I could be wrong on that, but that's just my own personal belief from what I was experiencing. Of course, when you deal with things like that, it's from your own perspective, and you just kind of relay with others and their perspectives, and you kind of come to an understanding about it.
Hmm. Well, what about a train is a conduit to you? Do you think it's just souls passing through
I think it's
via
many
the train,
things.
or what?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think you're right on that, but also I think it is because uh, this is something very interesting. You guys are going to be fascinated by this. I was waiting. I got some groceries, and I was sitting waiting, and I saw these guys, all kinds of folks, getting on and off them trains. The thing is, these are train, like homeless folks. Is what I'm thinking because these guys, I don't think they would be working. This is like late at night. Of course, you do have the guys that walk up and down, making sure the everything's secured, right when they pull in. But this was interesting. I'm just saying the way these guys are moving around. They might have been that, but I think more likely they were homeless folks that ride those rails. And I think also there's been a lot of accidents and things. Also, when you have people that my uncle, he used to work. He worked for a company that provided transportation for those guys that put down the rail spikes and basically built the railroad itself,
Oh yeah.
repaired them, all that kind of stuff. And people get
Hmm.
hurt, things like that. I mean, it pays well, but then there's a reason it does. It's very dangerous work. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I think pretty much it's a lot of people may have passed or whatever happened. I mean, and I think not everything's doom and gloom. Maybe just something happened and
Well, it
excuse me,
could be
bear
a. Here's what come to my mind while you was talking about this: crossroads phenomenon, the old black magic crossroads.
yes, that's another one too. That's a very good possibility. I never really thought about that. I mean, that's very interesting. I never even thought about that. It's very possible. Yes.
Well, it crosses many streams, many roads, many valleys. Why
Oh yeah.
not? Yeah.
I'll be honest. Houston many people don't know this, but Houston, of course, everyone knows I grew up, in Houston and that county and all that. But also, many people don't know is Houston's the energy is one of the. I think it is still, but it's definitely one of the energy capitals of the world. There's a lot of people just have no idea how big the train yards are in Houston. They're huge. They go all over the place. People
Right.
don't know really the traffic of those freight trains and the oil, how it gets transferred. And of course, you have the ship channel, and you have massive, massive. Believe me, when I was in my early either 20s or late teen years, it was just a job for a day, but I had it was a very interesting experience. I cleaned one of those barges. They had me. with a big old one of those flat brooms, and I was sweeping a big, massive, massive barge. I mean, you have all those kind of things coming in and out of Houston, and I'm just saying it's only natural when you have that kind of traffic coming in and out of a city, especially an industrial city like that. You're going to have supernatural phenomenon tied to it. I mean, to me,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
you
not.
got some, Houston is like a melting pot of just about every kind of culture. It's like New
Oh
York
yeah,
City,
big time.
but down south.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's actually I think like the fourth or fifth most populated city in this country. I mean, it's. I'm just saying. I mean, it's only natural you to see a lot of stuff like that. The Spaghetti Warehouse I've mentioned before is a big time supernatural hotspot. You have ghost hunting. I think the place has been closed down for a while, but you have ghost hunting expeditions that go all around that area. And
All right.
believe me, Houston has no shortage of such things. I also wanted to say that I did. I finally. I'm not. I haven't put it up yet, but I finally did the video on the floor on like the stairs in the woods. I think
Oh yeah,
everyone
you
will
said you was
very
going to
interested.
do some research. So, anything interesting that kind of caught you off guard?
Yes, actually, I just thought I was only thinking this in in the United States. There are actually a lot of landmarks and stuff like that that are very famous all over the world that had these kind of things going on. A lot of them are tied to. I mean, of course, I think a lot of that is sometimes an ant's an ant. I think sometimes you have hoaxers that put stuff in the middle of nowhere to spook people. It's kind of like in 2016. Remember those clown sightings?
Oh yeah.
You had a bunch.
Don't get me started. That was a sort of like an entertaining kind of deal, but I think that was just fueled by, hey, I'd like to see how fast I can get on different platforms if I
That's
dress up like
exactly.
a freaking
Yes.
clown.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of that kind of behavior has been. I mean, let's leave it at this. You would be surprised how easy it is to see a bunch of people move something. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying it ain't. A lot of it don't make sense, and a lot of it don't. But I mean, I'm just saying you'd be surprised what some hoaxers can come up with. So I think honestly, a lot of it is that. But at the same time, there is some phenomena going on with that. A lot of these older ones, like the stone stairs and stuff, are linked to old pyramids and temples, like in South America, that, of
Right.
course, is covered up with a way, like you know, you, a lot. Of course, you also have to understand a lot of that's on private land, so you ain't really gonna, unless they're like a tourist attraction, you ain't gonna really see too much of that. But I mean,
So
I'm
how
just
ma-
saying,
so how many of these stairs out in the middle of the woods are actually remnants of ghost towns where the only thing left is a set of stairs or maybe even a chimney column or something like that?
that right there, I did kind of put on the video. Basically, I didn't really, I was kind of deliberately vague on that. I want people to think for themselves, but at the
Right.
same time, I think a lot of that is definitely true. I'll be honest with you. If I came across something like that in the middle of the woods, you think, and it was, I knew someone had not been pranking or something like that. And
Right.
landmarks in the story, hell yeah, actually, that's a bucket list thing. I'd love to do something like that before I die, see something like that. But if it was something that my, city ass was, just stumbled on, you think I'm touching that? You got to be at your mind. I don't want to know what's attached to it. I have enough problems. Thank you. No, thank you. I would not want to. I mean, it'd be fascinating, but I ain't no paranormal investigator like that. I
Right.
have a few. Yeah, you already know I have quite a few things that's happened to me, but I would not volunteer for something like that. I mean, I leave that to people who are braver than me.
Oh man. Here's one offshoot that I have come across the last couple of days. I like watching a YouTuber called Adventures, and
Okay.
he usually goes around and finds old, dilapidated, kind of areas, and goes and sees old graveyards and stuff. And one,
Beautiful
I've been
thing.
watching that for about a year or so, and then I come
Oh,
across burial rites and cemetery things down in New Orleans, and I was like, okay, what's the difference between crypt up here and a crypt down there? Well, there's a whole lot of difference.
yeah. Well, the thing is, in Houston, you don't have. I'll be honest. That's a good question. In Houston, you don't have those massive mausoleums. You do have crypts. You do, but they are above ground. They're usually in big. You basically have. Okay, they don't. They're not allowed here to build new graveyards. They can expand on the property, and a lot of these old places they have like big, called tombs, but they're above ground. They may be a little bit underground, but not like New Orleans. You don't have catacombs. You have people interred, a lot of times cremated, whatever. They're basically interred into like a tomb or whatever. You have a lot of that in Houston. You have many things like that actually, but most of the time you basically just have a basically a headstone on the ground.
Oh, wow.
It's not. Yeah, as I'm saying, you don't really have a lot of the. In Texas, you don't really have a lot of those underground. I mean, you have some, I'm pretty sure, but I have not seen any like anything like that. But you usually just have like the classical, headstone, 6 feet in the ground, and of course, you have a bunch of them.
Oh yeah, well there's like six different ways of burial there in New Orleans, and that kind of climate. Basically basically cooks the corpse, and once it's reduced down to bone, they go back and the next person in that family or whatever has lays claim to that vault. They take the bones out, bag them, and put them in underneath the vault.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm like, wow, well, that's something new. I hadn't thought about that, but I guess that's about every day down in New Orleans and
Sure.
things around that area. So, up here, one spot belongs to one spot.
I
So,
mean, I'll be honest. I can understand why Big Homie has pretty much had the experiences he's had because of where he lives. But it's not just that. You also have, I mean, New Orleans has a very rich. I mean, Houston has a rich history, but I think New Orleans definitely has a much richer history because of just, a lot of the magic and things like that were
oh, yeah,
practiced by. I'm saying you got to remember, a lot of the slaves that have been brought over, of course, them folks are going to be bringing their religion with them. I mean, that's only
absolutely.
natural. I mean, you can't
Yeah,
blame them. They're gonna do what they know, and of course, a lot of that was blended with the Christianity and stuff like that. I'll be honest. I've known some folks from who were their bloodlines were deep in Louisiana, and I'll be honest with you, many of them have a lot of knowledge of that old stuff. Even the Christians do. They know somebody or something. You don't really. I mean, in Houston, you have a lot of Spanish culture. You don't have. Texas in general, you don't really have that. Uh, you have some African culture, but not much. You have more of a Spanish. Uh, you have a lot of Spanish and some native influence, like in New Orleans, though. You have a lot more. You have freaking, you have French. You have African. I think you have some native. It's just. You have so much there, so it's only a
yeah.
natural thing that you see all that paranormal activity down there.
Well, in some of the older spots in New Orleans, what I learned is each crypt probably has dozens of bodies in there, even though it's
Oh,
small. It may be just small enough for one or two caskets. So, no wonder there's so much energy down there, so much
yeah,
supernatural
you work
stuff.
with what you got. Yeah, of course. A lot of
Yeah,
these families, they're old. They have old ancestry down there, and again, you can't blame them. They're going to work with what they have, and you get a very interesting result.
oh yeah, you never
Right.
know. But when are we going to see that new staircase video of yours out in the
In
woods?
the next probably in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, well, that's cool.
I said I've already done it. I just need to upload it. So, some of my normal theories. It ain't very long, but I think people will enjoy it because I had a blast making it.
That's cool, brother. That's cool. Well, I appreciate you calling in as usual, Wes. And Wes is Wes Vick at dogmancams.com is his email if you want to get in touch with him. And he does a lot of good producing work for all of the Dark Waters family of shows, from Dogman Cams to Dark Waters himself, my show Chasing the Truth. You name it. Even Vault of Nightmares is over there in the chat. He does some work for Vault too. You're just all around classy kind of guy that knows what he's doing.
That's appreciated, man. I ain't gonna hold you up. I'm gonna let another caller come in, but I just wanted to kind of leave that out there. You be careful.
All right, brother. You take care. All right. Wes Vick from the Dark Waters family of shows. Wes Vick at dogmancams.com is his email if you want to get in touch with him. He called me today. He said, hey, I got a question asking. He was asking me about old Bigfoot Anonymous. Connor Flynn said, how can I get in touch with him? I'd like to get him on Dogman Cams. I said, I think he's biting at the bit to get on there. And I gave him some contact information. So you might be hearing from Bigfoot Anonymous over on Dogman Cams. You never know. That old boy, he's all over the place. From couch surfing across the United States to finding Bigfoot in the swamps of Florida. But, yeah. Okay, let's go over here to the safari and see what we got going on. Now, of course, we're heading over to Phantoms and Monsters. PhantomsMonsters.com. Lon Strickler. Apparently, Lon had a medical procedure done today, and he didn't do any blogging for today, which, we all got to do that. But that's for October 27th today. On Tuesday, yesterday, which, I wasn't on air yesterday. And the Stories from Creepy Outdoors. Stories from the Creepy Outdoors was the October 26th edition for his blog. 3 separate creepy accounts from outdoors from Oklahoma, Wyoming, and Missouri. If you have any strange and unexplained stories, feel free to forward them to Lon Strickler, of course. You go down here on the right, and guess what you see right here? Dogman Cams is a proud sponsor of PhantomsandMonsters.com. Just to let you know. Lon Strickler, I've been on his show. He's been on mine, and he's an interesting kind of guy. I have been following Phantoms and Monsters for well over 15 years, if not more. I think he's had this thing up for decades and changed servers from one server to the next. But if you need to know or want to know anything that has to do with the supernatural, cryptids, UFOs, that's the place to go, phantomsandmonsters.com. So, anyway, before we get off on the phantomsandmonsters.com, let's go over here to the chat and jump in here and say hello to a few people and see what's going on. Thaddeus Cray, that was West Vic in there. Michelle Smith, Scotty, and then Vault of Nightmares. What's going on? Hey, Vault, do you have those ghost lights down there back into your property? That was an interesting thing come to my mind. Like the Brown Mountain lights around here. My dad, when he was living on top of a mountain back when he was alive, he would say he would see these brown and blue lights that would come out of he lived up on a ridge. And he could see clean down into the valley all the way from Virginia into northeast Tennessee. Yep, the blue will-o-wisps. Yeah, there you go. And he said he would see, on occasion, probably, waxed and waned a little bit on how often he'd see them. He would see these lights coming in out of the valley from the tree lines and up and, and go back into the valley. Blue and brown lights. The Brown Mountain over North Carolina, Brown Mountain lights, it's not that far away as a bird flies. So that's just what came to my mind. My dad had 2 crazy moments of time where he had missing time. Sorry about that. I need to trim my beard. My beard's getting into places that shouldn't as I'm talking, so there you go. So anyway, this is Chasing the Truth, and I'm officially 22 minutes into this show. Probably a little bit more than that. But this is Unscreened Halloween week. Unscreened Open Lines, meaning somebody asked earlier right before the show went, so do I pick people to call in? Do I screen the calls? Absolutely not. I have no clue who's going to call in. Dragon ZW, I think, I was kind of ghosting in the chat last night for a few seconds over on Steve Stockton's channel, and he kind of mentioned, hey, I'll be over there on Shawn G's channel and talk about some of his paranormal supernatural stuff. If you want to call in, brother, go right ahead, 931-994-6917. But to answer the chatter's question, first come, first caller served. And that's it. I don't, now if I get somebody that continuously calls in, if they've got a good story, I may allow them to call in a second time, but usually 1 call per person, but you never know. Chaos Theory is in the house down there. Happy hour. Hey, brother, thank you again for all you do over there on my server, Chasing the Truth. I know you got your own server, but Discord is what I'm talking about. Dark Waters YouTube's over there. Dark Waters is going to have Occupy Halloween, which, let's see. Can you drop that list, Lakea, of Occupy Halloween? It's over on, I think he dropped something on the Dark Waters channel on YouTube. The schedule. He's got it all scheduled out. However, that boy keeps... He's at a 30,000 foot level. I'm barely above eye level at 3 feet. So, there you go. Admiral Thorius says Brown Mountain lights are very weird. There was a woman who disappeared recorded when she was lost on the mountain. So yeah, I absolutely. Oh, just a second. I need to. Where is that chat pop? I need to move this chat pop up a little bit so the Halloween doesn't block out the actual message on this particular screen while I'm doing this. But, yeah. What are they? Are they gas lights? Are they supernatural lights? Energy? Let's see. What else could they be? Ball lightning, maybe? Don't know. It is what it is. If you got an idea what Brown Mountain lights are, the blue wisps down at Vault of Nightmares property, give me a call, or you can actually text the same number, 931-994-6917. Let me know what's going on, where you're hearing this particular show. I'm on the Paranormal Radio app and on my YouTube channel, Chasing the Truth, Shawn G, and the Dark Waters channel over on the Paranormal Radio app. If you're over on the Paranormal Radio app and listening to me, holy cow, thank you. Call in and tell me where you're listening from. What point on this globe, whether you believe it's a globe or a flat earth, which I'm not sold on the flat earth thing, but I'm open to suggestions for sure. And yeah, it's fascinating. The Brown Mountain lights are definitely fascinating. Let's hop over here, go to the Safari and bring this back up. See what we got going on here. Get off of that one, and then we'll go here. There's the Dark Waters thing right there. So IamDarkWaters.com. Definitely go over there and let's look up Brown Mountain lights. Oh, it's actually got a website, brownmountainlights.com. I did not know that. There you go. It's going to take it a second. For whatever reason, my Safari browser actually updated to the new Monterey software. So, radio. Jimmy Akins released a new song about the lights. I hope that's not playing in the background. The Brown Mountain lights, there's a viewing guide on National Geographic. And hauntedasheville.com. Asheville. I have been to Asheville so many times. I've been to several clip of, well, I don't know. It's probably, if I click that, that's probably going to have some sort of monetization tag with it that I can't really do it. But Brown Mountain lights. There you go. Brown Mountain lights. Let's go to Flipboard. See what's happening over in the paranormal section on Flipboard. If you like Flipboards, flipboard.com. I have been a subscriber, or not a subscriber, been a fan of it off and on for a good 10 plus years. But looks like we got Shane the Fortune. I think he's associated with Lon Strickler. Pair of surveys shed light on Americans' paranormal belief and experiences. Hey, that sounds pretty good. Let's see what that says. Since I'm sitting here making up time, nobody's calling in on that unscreened open line. Hint, hint. Somebody's going to have to call in, 931-994-6917. Don't be shy. I'm not going to startle you, but there you go. I'm not going to bite either. Pair of surveys shed light on Americans' paranormal belief and experiences. This is at iHeart.com. I guess this is from Coast to Coast with George Norrie. Let's see. We got a pair of recent surveys timed for the Halloween season shed light on Americans' belief with the paranormal phenomena, including ghosts, aliens, and Bigfoot. First poll was reportedly commissioned by the Phantom's Wines. Asked 2,000 people the thoughts of different strange and unusual topics. Among the enlightening responses, to the survey. Well, we got another. I think I actually know this fellow. If you just hold on just a second, unscreened caller. Of all the nightmares, what's going on, brother?
What's going on?
Yeah, I need to actually record you laughing and put that as something I can sit there and hit and play that. Yeah, there you go.
I never thought it was unique or nothing, but okay.
Hey, why not? Somebody might be able to recognize it.
Well,
what's going on down there? Those blue wisps. Have you seen them lately on those cameras, or what's going on? Or what's that one-eye Willie that DW keeps seeing?
It's some kind of cryptid. I don't know if it's a Bigfoot. I don't think it's a dog man. Some people keep wanting to call it a gugway, but I've dealt with gugways up in Washington State before, and them tongue guns are just about as ornery as a dog man. These things kind of keep, as long as I don't push on them too hard, they kind of stay back. Like I said, I kind of established the yard rule with them where this is mine, that's yours. But here lately, since I've been going into the woods, they've been getting a little bit perturbed, I would say. But we're going to see how well a bonfire goes over late Saturday night. So
yeah, I saw that on the schedule for the Occupy Halloween.
Oh yes, I'm actually I love Halloween. That's actually mine and Lakea's anniversary, and I'm actually going to be releasing an Occupy Halloween and Lakea. It's going to be a Occupy Halloween bought and Lakea happy anniversary shirt tomorrow in my store site. Like I said, I'm so excited about Halloween. I'm going to start tomorrow around lunchtime, between 12 and 1, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. I'm going to actually drop a live stream tomorrow on my channel. DDoS is supposed to be there. If you're not busy, come on over. Dark Waters may even show up. And then later that evening, I think me and DDoS are going to do one of the Dogman camps. And then, as usual, Dark Waters is going to be dropping a live stream sometime after us or around us or something. So,
according to that schedule, they've got after my show, DW is going to go live. About I think he gave me a 2.5 hour spot to do whatever I need to do for my show Saturday night. But who knows what's going to happen? Sounds like it's going to be interesting, to say the least.
Dude, it's going to be fun. Like I said, this is I like this better than Christmas. So, but they calls me a street Christmas.
So, do you have one of those Halloween trees?
No, I don't have a Halloween tree, but like I said, Halloween's always been. A lot of people are scared of it, and it's supposed to be the spooky time of the year, and I've always been a kind of a spooky kind of person, and most things that scare most people I enjoy. So. Like I said, I've been trying to get Lakea to watch the new Halloween movie with me, but
oh really? I hadn't seen the previews for the new Halloween movie. I'll have to go look that up.
I'll have to send you links to a site that allows you to watch it.
Oh, I've got plenty of those, definitely. So yeah.
Okay. Well. I think DW is going to be streaming. There's not really much going on tonight over here. It's storming its butt off right now down here. Lightning and stuff. I was actually going to do a stream after your stream, but with all this lightning, I don't really feel like frying my new monster computer. So,
well, you got to have those things all, grounded
I got them
out.
On surge protectors. I got them on surge protectors. I actually got my house is on a surge protector, and then I've got a surge protector in the plug-in. But the way I look at it, if it's built by man, God can fuck it up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have a question. Are you got any plans, or have you ever thought about putting a camera on that outbuilding where these things play with those toys?
They don't come out there no more. That's actually, we fenced that in. It's fenced in all the way from the top to the bottom with a chain link fence. In the daytime, that's where my son puts his dog whenever he's gone that way, because he's got a full grown American pit mixed with a blue heeler, and she stays inside any other time. But when he leaves, that way she doesn't tear up his stuff in his room like she has before. That's where he puts her. But there has been a stray dog, a scrawny stray dog staying around here ever so often. But if these things come around, it kind of like disappears. I don't know where it goes. And then it'll come back in a couple of days. Every once in a while, some people said that they heard a dog or something. That's probably it, because if it's dark outside, that's the only dog that would be around here is a stray. But if you hear something screaming or sounds like a scream or a weird howl, growl, whatever, that's one I'd Willie and his bunch. That's not a dog.
Huh. So have you caught anything out on those cameras with the howling and the screeching?
I don't know. Some people said that they've heard some stuff. Now, the night that I went down there and actually I got myself in I told y'all I'm very good at getting in stupid situations. I don't need any help with that. I wound up going down there trying to get it to move that night for the camera to get it to move back. And I heard something behind me, and about 20 feet behind me is it's like a little finger of trees. It's about 20 or so yards deep, and it goes straight back into the woods. Well, I turn around, and then kind of in the moonlight, I catch Andre the Giant's shadow standing behind me about 20 feet away. And on the camera, I've already got a high-powered rifle pointing at Willie, but to make sure he don't come towards me, or hopefully. And I wind up having to pull my sidearm because I got one pointed at one pointed at the other. And luckily it didn't cut me off where I could back up to the camera to get back out of the way, because I think they were trying to push me deeper into the woods. And that's been known to happen several times fooling with squatches. That's how people usually go missing, is because they get themselves in a position where they can't go back to what direction they came, and they wind up having to go deeper in. And look, it's 5 miles to a river that joins the Mississippi River up in there, and it's a long way before you get to a road going that way. So I particularly don't want to go that way.
Yeah, I heard I was on one of the live streams that DW was doing on Dogman Cams of your backyard. There was a little bit more traffic there than I expected. There was like one every 20 or 30 minutes, one car passing by.
Well, they've been working on the road that goes to another road over here off of this one, so the traffic has been detoured through here. They're putting in it's a gravel road, and they're putting in a new bridge. And MDOT, which is Mississippi Department of Roads and Transportation, are not known for being very speedy. Let's put it that way. You got 9 people standing out there, only one's holding a sign, the other ones are watching him.
All right.
Like I said, they've got a detour right now, and like I said, the traffic in the last, I'm gonna say 2 weeks, have been a lot heavier than it's way out of the norm. Because I've been on the phone with you doing live streams, standing in the front yard, and maybe a car every hour, 30 minutes or so. But here lately, it's like Grand Central Station. But that's because that road's out, and that's the only way is you go about 15 miles before you turn on this road down to go to the other end of another road that's right above me that's a country road. Or if you need to be on this end, you got to come this way. You can't take that road if you're over in town to come back through. Like I said, it's detour. It's shut off. So, and I don't know how much longer it's going to be. It looks like they've gotten a little bit more when I rode up through there today just to look but like I said, MDOT is a slow process.
Mm-hmm.
It's our illustrious state worker. So if you're listening to me and you know where I am and you know anything about the area that I'm in, you'll know exactly, or better yet, Mississippi, just in general. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Like I said, they'll be directing traffic. It'll be one guy out there with a sign, 5 other people either standing up, holding a shovel, not doing nothing, or looking at the guy holding the sign.
So have you heard anybody offhandedly mention they saw something crazy as they're working on that road?
No, not lately. But like I said, the local sheriff's department, now they don't readily release this, but whenever I was looking into buying this property here, I went to the sheriff's department to see, what kind of crime area, what I said I was looking for, but I just wanted to see what kind of reports have been coming out of the area for the last 10 years. And there's multiple weird sightings, unexplained sightings, like large bears crossing the road, and there are no bears. And there are some bears in Mississippi, but they're either towards the Louisiana line or north Mississippi, and I'm actually central Mississippi. There hadn't been bears here since probably the 20s. Now, I'm not saying they can't make a comeback, but having multiple people have bear sightings in the general same area within a 5-mile stretch is kind of unrare for no bears to be here. You see what I'm saying? Large, upright, hairy creatures. People have broke down on the side of the road. Well, the lights must be off somewhere. I just seen a light truck go through. Told y'all it's
interesting.
Getting well. No, it's storming here, and the winds are probably doing about 30 miles an hour. Well, luckily I live right in Tornado Alley here, and people think, tornadoes aren't that bad. Bull crap. Tornadoes are 10 times worse than a hurricane because you have no warning. You can be, usually they hit in the middle of the night when everybody's asleep, and you wake up and everything, your house will be gone all around you. But
you're holding what's left of the roof in your hand, if you're even in your house.
Well, look at Joplin, Missouri. That tornado that went through there, they nicknamed it the Finger of God because it ripped houses off the slab and then ripped the slab up, a concrete slab. It removed it from the ground, and some of them, they don't know where the hell they went. It destroyed the Joplin Hospital, the radiology department. It was just destroyed. It looked like a bomb. It looked like the Oklahoma City bombing went off there. But like I said, that was just a tornado that went from one end of town to the other end of town. And like I said, it got nicknamed the Finger of God because within a mile-long swath wide, all the way through town, that area right there, there was nothing left. Nothing. It ripped, like I said, everything out.
That's I have never seen. I think I've seen one funnel that popped up as I was going up toward Bluefield, West Virginia, as I was traveling up that way. Pop out, but I didn't see it touch down. That's about the closest I've been.
When Lakia was younger, she lived in when her mom married her stepdad, she lived in a single wide trailer. And luckily, they had built a top over it, and they had 8x8 posts, stuck in the ground right beside the post. And a tornado came through there when she was little. Her mom had just walked out, got in her car. That tornado picked that trailer up, turned it sideways in between them posts, and slammed it back down with all of them in it.
Does any of those cryptids around your place? Any of those cryptids around your place get agitated or react differently when a big storm like's happening now, or when a hurricane comes up?
Usually, they just get quiet? That's what I was going to tell people. Usually after, not before, but it'll be after. I don't know if it's because they're going through. See, these things have a roaming territory. They don't always stay here. Like now, for the last 2 days, I haven't heard nothing, really seen anything. A couple of people's been seeing ice shine. I don't know what that is, but it's been quiet here. You can tell when these things are around because everything else in the woods around will leave. No deer, no frogs, no birds, no nothing. That's a good indicator that they're around. and they'll stay around for 3 or 4 days, and then they'll slowly kind of mingle off again. I think these are roamers. I think they have a large area that they roam in, because like I said, you got all that behind me that goes into a swamp. They can go, I know, 5 miles probably plus one direction before they possibly could run into anybody. And then if they go up or down that river and canal system, there's no telling how far they go before they hit another house or where someone would see them. Because my nearest neighbor is actually I'm standing at the front of my door now, to my right, and they're probably almost a mile up the road.
Oh,
that's my nearest neighbor.
Wow. Yeah, there's spots like this around here. That's why you just don't go traipsing off in the woods. You never know when you're going to be in somebody's backyard and you got a shotgun or something bigger pointed at you.
Hey, especially up there, this time of year is it's getting ginseng time. That'll get your ass killed faster than going into a marijuana patch. And see, those are notorious for around here. Not really this time of year, because it's getting cooler and stuff is starting to die off. But ginseng is really hitting. And I want to tell you something. I've been shot at more on the side of mountainsides for somebody thinking I was going after their sane than anything. They will kill you over that stuff quick.
Yeah, ginseng, black cohosh, any place that's out there in the wild that they think they have some sort of ownership of, even though it's probably illegally harvested, especially if it's on federal land.
Yeah.
Oh man, you can get some time illegally harvesting ginseng on federal land if you ain't got the right permits. We're talking some major stuff.
Ginseng, I think last year's prices, wet ginseng, fresh wet ginseng, was going for like $80 an ounce, if I'm not mistaken, or some crazy stuff like that. I've never done it. I don't know that much about it. But
I wish I had my sister on here. She used to deal in that. She was one of those folks that actually buy it up and had some Chinese connections to actually sell that stuff. They would come in, buy entire barrels full of this stuff, and tons of money was passed. It was nothing to spend a few $100,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was one guy, I was up in, oh crap, I can't remember. I think it was up in Missouri, where the guy had brought in a plastic 55-gallon drum. When I say all you could stuff in it, I think it went for $250,000. That's been several years ago, and I'm like, I didn't even know what the hell this shit was. And I'm like, you're paying that for twisted up old roots? He's like, that's sane. I'm like, what? He said, that's ginseng. I was like, oh, I did not know it was that expensive. He's like, man, and the thicker and more intricate the root systems are, means they're worth more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I did not know. That's the craziest thing in the world, and people don't realize you can walk right by it and never know that you just walked through a whole like $10,000 worth of sane. Because unless you know what to look for, you will not ever. You can step on it and won't even know it.
Oh, if you just go out there and don't know, what a ginseng leaf looks like, or when they, start having berries on them, you would not have a clue. Now, one thing is, I know, well, there's no way I can find out now, but my late father planted patches of these things. It was cultivating the stuff throughout the mountainside. That was one of his things he wanted to do, and he would, that was his go-to when he needed a little extra cash. He'd go pick some of the ginseng, and then boom, he's got a few $1,000s on him. But
there was a guy years ago. I'm talking about years ago, like in the 70s. He's known for going around planting two things: pawpaw trees and wild apple seed up around Kentucky and stuff like that. And he was kind of famous, but I cannot remember his freaking name for nothing. But most people don't even know what a pawpaw tree is.
Oh, I know. Those are the stinkiest trees once they start falling,
Man,
the fruit falling. That's pretty stinky, but they taste pretty
oh,
good when they're kind of ripe.
yeah.
But they stink
Well, I'm gonna
in
tell
the
you right now,
summertime.
squatches love them damn things. Squatches absolutely freaking love them. If you got pawpaw trees around, I can guarantee you got a squatch somewhere that frequents through that area, especially like you said. Once those things start dropping and start rotting, the smell that comes off of them can be smelled for a long
Oh
way.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's just one of those things that that was what I would smell every summer. Used to be a train track with a trestle that went over top of a road, um, less than probably about 400 or 500 yards from here, and it had two pawpaw trees around there. And the wind catch just right. You could smell it in the summertime. And you go around there, and I'd pick me a couple when you could eat them. Once they fall on the ground and start rotting, you don't want to be around the damn things.
Oh, that's a sickening. That is a stinking smell.
Oh yeah.
Well, man, I'm fixing to get off here and go help Lakea put this chili. I made homemade chili tonight, and I'm going to help her put this up and give someone else a chance to call in. I just wanted to say hey, and y'all
Hmm.
don't forget, like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, that's the way this game is played around here. More people that like it and subscribe, the more people get to hear my southern voice talk about whatever it is that you guys call in about.
All right, man.
All
And
right,
as
brother.
always, to everybody listening, sweet nightmares.
All right. Thanks to Vol of Nightmares. Go over and subscribe to Vol of Nightmares, the Vol of Nightmares 2.0 over on his channel. I think he's up to 1,300 plus. Last time I looked, I was 1157 or 8. Thank you for every last one of you that have, thought enough about me to subscribe. I didn't think I'd even be this close this time of year. I thought it'd be well off after January 1st, but who knows what's going to happen between now and January. But yeah, if you know what a pawpaw is, give me a call, 931-994-6917. Let me know where you know about it, how, if you got fond memories of it during the summertime, if you liked it, like the fruit, or if you don't like the fruit. It's just strange. Have you ever had a pawpaw dessert? Dessert made out of all these things. These little nasty little pieces of fruit during the summer time. Marquita Jones, hey, we got who else is in here? Let me go back to the chat screen here. Pull up the chat screen. See who's in chat this afternoon. Let's see, we got Lisa Ray. Hey, Lisa Ray. Marquita, Shawn, Chekhov. Let's see who else is talking in there. Crazy Backyard Chicken Man. I like that name. Way down yonder in Pawpaw Patch. Yep, there was definitely a Pawpaw Patch not too far from me. But this neighborhood got developed about a dozen years ago when the town I lived in, 4-lane come through and cut the town in half, and some of that money got spent to relocate or disused railroad, and now they got a big old railroad tunnel that's not too probably about 200 yards from me that I used to go over there and catch crawdads over there, if you know what a crawdad is. Interesting stuff, to tell you the truth. Chekhov says, my hubby keeps whacking it with a weed eater. Okie dokie. Pawpaws, I'm in South Carolina. Peter says. And Lisa wants to know, hope you and yours are doing well and blessed. Well, my mother fell and broke her back, but she's doing all right. She's in a back brace and waiting to see what's going on. She did that yesterday, so if you feel inclined to, say a prayer for my mother. She's hurting a little bit, but other than that, pretty fine. Bansheba says, never tried a pawpaw. Southern roots. Well, how in the hell did you grow up in the South and not try pawpaw? I can get it if you were like in the city or well-developed areas where pawpaws probably are not even close to those areas. But if you live out in the woods like I do, it's almost, it's not a ritual. It's almost for sure you had come across a pawpaw tree in your life. I appreciate that, Lisa, and all the others. Lakea, Dark Woods, appreciate that. Yeah, it's just one of those things. As we grow older, our parents grow older, and the inevitable time factor takes a lot of toll on you. All right, took my father and my brother, and now my mother. God help her. She has a tendency to fall, unfortunately, but she's doing all right from what I understand. Sister and I just got off the phone about an hour or two ago and was talking about some stuff. Oh, well, Dragon ZW, I got your text message, buddy. And it doesn't look like he's going to be calling in tonight. Apparently, one of his family members. Yeah, that's all right, brother. Life happens. Life happens. You do what you need to do. Like I tell Wes every day when he says, I'm going to get this up and running over on the iTunes or whatever. I was like, man, this is just a show, dude. Take care of your own. Same thing with Dragon. Dragon, I appreciate you, brother. Next time we'll get you on there and we'll get an update of what in the world's going on with you. But I appreciate you offering. So, anyway, let's see. Yeah, the time has an interesting way. 7 years ago, I had 2 good legs. I don't know how good they were, but I had 2 legs. Now I'm in a wheelchair with, half of a good leg. But definitely one of those weird things. Time does a wild bunch of crazy stuff and makes you appreciate things and de-appreciate, unappreciate. Make things that you appreciated before or valued before go upside down. My value system versus me 10 years ago, I don't give a crap about 90% of what I gave a crap about 10 years ago. It was worthless then, and it's worthless now to me. But you never know. But anyway, this is a call-in show. If you're new to listening to my voice or listening to this show live, we're live right now. It is Wednesday, October 27th, 8:56 p.m. Central Time, 9:56 on the right coast, and I think 6:56 or 8:50 or 5:56. 6:56 over on the left coast. If my math, I can't do math, but for reasons, I just don't have a brain. But this is a call-in show, and without you, all you're going to hear is me talking. But if you don't want to hear me just talking, you better call in. This is your high sign, 931-994-6917, or you can text to that number, and if I feel it's appropriate, I'll read it on there, 931-994-6917. And Lakay is trying to get over 1,000 subscribers over her channel. Hard to tell what she would do. Is she going to, what do you do on your channel, Lakay? Are you chasing Vault around? Or is it, what is it? What kind of channel content do you produce over there? I think I saw you drive, either you or your husband driving. The last video I actually saw pop up. But, all right. That being said, let's go back to, oh, wait a minute. We got a caller that's calling in. Unscreened caller, give me just a second. We'll pop you up on the line here. And you are on the air, Unscreened caller. Where are you from and what's your name?
I am from Missouri, and my name's Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. What's going on with you today?
Well, I'm just sitting here enjoying the chat with you.
Well, great. What kind of stories do you have to share with us? Or are you just calling in and saying you're Michelle from Missouri?
No. There's so much. First of all, prayers for your mama.
I appreciate it. I wasn't really thinking about saying anything about it, and it just hit me. Why not? Why? Sure.
Oh, no, there's power in prayer, that's for sure. But
Absolutely.
I'm a little nervous. And I've listened to you forever, and I just love the call-ins. But I've got a little spooky story,
Sure.
and it started about 16 years ago. We bought a house here in the area that I lived, born and raised here, lived here all my life, and bought this house. It was built in the 70s. And I usually have a pretty good feelings about, walking into a place and does it feel right, and didn't have any strange feelings whatsoever whenever we bought this house. Went in, gutted it, totally gutted it, remodeled it, made it more modern. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Whenever we went to sign the papers, the people that were selling us the house told us that it had the oldest cemetery in this county. And I'm like, where's it at? Well, they had never really explored the grounds. They were older. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Kind of put it in the back of my mind. And my husband was out clearing some of the land. And he said, hey, come on down here. Let's take a four-wheeler ride down here. And let me show you what I've done. I'm like, okay, sure. So I hop on the back of the four-wheeler and we go down there. And I'm just, gazing. And there it was, the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And so we stop, and only one of the stones had writing on it. And the gentleman was born like in the 1700s and died right around the Civil War. And it was really neat. And like I said, he was the only one. His name was Sap Jennings was his name. And it had a really eerie saying on the headstone itself. But there were like 14 other graves there, but they only had just stones, headstones, footstones, and we're talking just like rocks, And there was some Civil War activity around here, and so we're thinking, was it slaves? What was it? Well, kind of put that, on the back burner, and for whatever reason, I kind of got interested into like the ghost adventures. And my husband would have card games on Friday night. He'd go out with the men, and I'd be at home with the cats, and I'd be sitting there watching that, and you're alone in the house. And I had my one Siamese cat sitting up on the chair, the arm of the chair, and all of a sudden her head started darting around. I mean, just like she saw something. And I'm like, all right, what's going on? So I grab my cell phone and I start videotaping. And, I don't see anything. And I play it back and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I mean, there are these orbs shooting everywhere. And, I watched enough of this ghost hunter stuff that it's just like, okay, let's debunk this. It's not bugs, it's not this, it's not dust, because these things were coming in and out of the wall, and they were making angles that were just, it's like, what is going on? And so I have a twin sister, and we're very close. And they would always come over for like Sunday supper. And I'm like, hey, sis, look what I caught here. And I'd show her, and she'd be like, you got to be kidding me. And, this progressed and went on. And it got to the point to where I would start seeing these things with my eyes. I could see them. And I mean, I would start videotaping, and I could see them come up my staircase from my basement. I mean, take a direct turn and head down the hall. And it was just like, well, that's kind of neat, And I would like take videos and snapshots, and I was showing one to my sister one time, and she's just like, well, that's really cool, but who's that dude sitting on your couch? And I'm like, oh my God, there he was. He was sitting on the couch, and he was dressed almost like a lumberjack. That sounds silly, but he did. He had like the black and red plaid shirt on. He had a gray beard, and he had a stocking cap on. And I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. And it started to just progress and progress. And I would get to the point to where the hair would stand up on the back of my neck, and I would know, okay, start videotaping. And I was down in my basement one evening, and it's like, all right, there it is, that shiver, and I start videotaping. I videotape, and then I play it back, and here's this rod, this long glowing rod that comes out of the ceiling, and it floats down, and then it comes down kind of about halfway, and then it floats back up towards the ceiling, and I mean, just then explodes into all of these orbs. It's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. That is crazy. And so, this progresses, and I see in the paper that at our city hall, they were having like one of these little, like, Cedar County, Missouri Ghost Adventurer Society, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, that sounds kind of interesting. I'm going to go to this thing and see what this is all about. Well, they have this speaker up there, and she's doing her spill and everything. And after it's all said and done, I go up and tell her, well, I have some footage. And she goes, well, it's generally just bugs, or it's this or that. And I'm like, well, okay, take a look at this. And I show her that video that I've got of that rod coming down at the ceiling, and she's like, oh, wow, that's not a bug. And I'm like, yeah, I know that's not a bug. Well, anyway, they want to set up an appointment to come out to my house because I tell them about the cemetery.
Right.
And, I'm just wondering, did I stir up something, or did we, with this cemetery and finding it, I don't know. So I'm like, okay, they got their little ghost meters and everything. Come on out. Well, I'm a devout Christian. And the more I got to thinking about it, I'm just like, no, I'm provoking this. I need to stop this. And I was literally getting on the phone, ready to call her to tell her, no, don't bring your group out. I don't want to go any further with this. Well, the doorbell rings, and there she is. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. Well, anyway, we go down to the cemetery, and I insist that I'm the one that prays because they're kind of into that Wiccan thing. And it's like, no, that's not going to happen on my property. So anyway, I lead the prayer, and we didn't find one darn thing. Nothing. But yeah, nothing. But we proceed over to my brother-in-law's place, and he owns a lot of the land. And granted, see, we've got a big river that runs maybe a quarter of a mile away from us. We've got a huge lake that's about probably 3 miles away from us. So, that whole water thing. I've got power lines running on like 2 different, on either side of my house, so, there's that woo factor right there. So we proceed on over to one of his properties, which he has Indian burial grounds. He is a huge arrowhead hunter. He's even found full skeletons, hunting the arrowhead.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history there. And so we go to this one property that he has, and we pick up voices, we pick up sentences, and it's just like, okay, cool, this is fun, whatever. And we go back to the main house, and I forgot to tell you that the one lady that was the head of this society or organization, rather, she had told a little story about the Mothman, and she had had an experience with that. And of course, I'm just like, okay, whatever, But we are at this one particular house, which I have always had the heebie-jeebies every time we have ever gone by that. I mean, the hair stands up on the back of my neck. I just don't have a good feeling. So we're at this particular house, and I mean, all of a sudden, the air gets so thick, and we hear wings, and I am not kidding you, because I was the biggest skeptic in the world, and I'm like, what in the world is that? And I mean, I get my phone out, and I'm scanning around, and I see 2 red eyes, and I'm like, okay, I'm tapping out. I'm done. I am out of here.
So,
I mean, it was just a crazy experience.
so what was the red eyes attached to, or were they disembodied?
I have no idea, but all I know is it just got so heavy, and and I'm not the only one that saw these red eyes, and two of the ladies that were in this organization were sensitives. Is that what you want to call them? They could go onto a property and feel or read the aura. And she
Mm-hmm.
said, this is a bad place, a bad place. She said, there is something attached here. She said, I don't know if it's to that house or if it's to this land. But her mother physically got sick. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is a pretty good sign. I think we need to get out of here. I was just not feeling good about it at all. And of course, I did some heavy praying and, pled the blood of Jesus and got out of there. And on down the road, one morning, my husband had left to go to work. My son had gotten on the bus. I was in the house alone. And I was just getting ready to get up. And I woke up, and I was laying in bed. And I hear something. And I hear voices. And I mean, not just one voice, several voices. And I'm like, has he left on the TV? What's going on? And I mean, I was straining. It's like you could almost hear what they were saying, but you couldn't. And I'm like, what's going on? And I got up and went through the house and nothing was on. Well, I tell my husband and my son, and you get the old stink eye. Oh, mom's lost her mind, and I'm like, this is just too much. But anyway, a couple of weeks later, we had gone to neighboring town to see my nephew do an enduro race with his dirt bike, and my son was left at home alone. And he calls me, and he's like, "Mom, you're not crazy. I hear the voices. I hear them." And I said, you plead the blood of Jesus right now. You tell them to get out and leave. And I mean, my son did it and it stopped. And but the craziest thing of all, now this is the ringer right here. One night I was in bed and I woke up and the room was ice cold. Our bedroom was just ice cold. And I had to go to the bathroom. So I get up, and I didn't want to, but I got up, and I went to the restroom, and I'm sitting there. And I mean to tell you, when I felt like whatever it was just up in my face, and I felt rage, and I was shaking uncontrollably. And I mean, I made a beeline to that bed, and I jumped into bed with my husband, and I just closed my eyes. And then I open them and I turn to my left. And here is this Civil War soldier standing there. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And he is angry. I mean, he is angry. He's not angry at me. I could feel that. But there was just rage. And he said, why did they do this to me? Why did they do this to me? And I'm like, I can't help you. I'm sorry. And then he just dissipated. And at this point, I am beyond scared. And I mean, I am as close to my husband as I could get. And he wakes up and he goes, baby, you are freezing. And I said, you are not going to believe this, but there was just something in here. There was a man. It was a Civil War soldier. And he was just beside our bed. Yeah. And he said, well, what did he want? And, I told him, and he said, well, what did you say? And I said, I can't help you. I can't help you. And, he just held me. And at that point, it's just like, I felt like I was losing my mind. I mean, I really did. And, at that point, I was done. I'm just like, I'm done with this. You use the power of Jesus. And I mean, I went to every corner of my property and I pled his blood. I prayed. I'm telling you what, it stopped, Shawn. It stopped.
Oh, I believe absolutely. That's every show, even this show. Yeah. I pled the blood of Jesus Christ on everything from the listeners' participants.
We have to.
Everything. you know, and it kind of helps with, you know, it does help. It doesn't kind of, it does help. You know, before I started doing that with these shows, I would have all kinds of crazy phenomenon happen in this house. You know, wake up in the middle, you know, wake up from a dream, rebuking something in a dream, and waking up rebuking it. You know, it was just like
I
I
have done
was
the same thing.
doing it in my dream, and I'm waking up saying the words I was saying in my dream. I'm like, holy
I
cow, what's
know.
going
I
on?
know. It's amazing the power of just his name. You know, if you do a lot of research, you know, like into UFO abductions or anything, that name, boy, it stops them dead in their tracks. And you know, I've had some other really odd things that have been happening lately. I mean, just crazy things, but and that has to do with Bigfoot. And it's you know, my son, he gets so aggravated at me. He's like, would you stop watching that stuff? You're going to bring that stuff onto us, you know. But you know what started me down this path is, you know, I I I really love like the end times and Revelation, and you know, I study. I study a lot, and I was just praying to the Lord one day, and I'm just like, you know, show me, Lord, show me, what is this about? And then it led me to the Bigfoot and the cryptids and all of this, and that's how I got, you know, sucked into this, it's just so fascinating to me, you know. And um, the other night I was on my walk. I heard three whoops. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
as plain as day. And then my brother, like I said, my brother-in-law, he owns a lot of land around us. Like I said, river, lake, all of that. I mean, ideal. Deer. I mean, we've got a plethora of wildlife around here. And one of his, we're all kind of watchdogs for each other. You know,
Hmm.
when you live rural like this. And his one of his neighbors had said, you know, I heard a lot of commotion down off your down by the river the other night. You know, a lot of commotion, a lot of banging and going on, you know. And I was a little bit concerned because, you know, we run our cattle over there, and we've got cows calving right now. And it always worries me because, you know, we've had sightings of big cats and different things like that around here. And I'm like, so what did it sound like? And he said, well, it was like banging, like somebody was chopping down a tree or something. I'm like, that's interesting, you know. And you have to be careful because, you know, people look at you with that stink eye like, okay, you're crazy. But, you know, unless you've done your homework, you know, don't stand back and judge me or judge anybody, you know,
Yeah.
that has put their time into this, because you don't have thousands upon thousands of eyewitnesses, you know, and this not be true. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just how it is. And I just feel like this has opened my eyes, and I've been able to, my son and my husband are both avid hunters, and I've been able to open their eyes, be aware, you know, be aware,
What do you
because
think
it
about
can happen.
these cryptids like the Bigfoot and the other things that are out in the woods? You know, from the smallest things
Oh,
of
absolutely.
like the little people. You know, one man band doesn't like me to say those names, but on up.
You know what? At this point, our our great creator, our God created this world. And, you know, I don't have any doubt. I mean, if you are going to believe, how supernatural is the Bible? I mean, come on. We have giants, we have angels, we have demons, we have, I mean, just read your Bible. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that any of this isn't
Oh,
true. I mean, at portals, all of it. The UFOs, I don't believe that they're little green men from other, you know, planets. To me, they're demonic. You know, that's just my opinion. You
hmm.
know, think what you might, but you know, I go by the Bible, and that's what I think. And I think that Satan's had his plan from the very beginning, and God has his, and he's going to win in the end. But you know, I don't have any doubt. And even from a little kid, you know, my dad always said, you know, talked about the boogeyman. I can remember one time my dad was a big coon hunter, and we were out coon hunting one night, and I was probably 9 or 10 years old. And I was on him. We'd ride our mules and mule hunt. and I was on a mule named Snowball, right? I mean, just white as white. And we got down by the riverside, and I mean, the tree started shaking, and that mule. I mean, why were the trees shaking? When I was a kid, I didn't think anything about it, but it spooked that mule, and that mule took off with me. And I mean, when I think back on it now, it was hilarious because everybody in the party said all they saw was a white streak running down through the pasture. But you know, uh, it took off with me. And whenever we finally got things under control, my dad said, "Well, that was just the boogeyman," you know? And it's just like, my dad never talked about Bigfoot or anything like that, but it was always the boogeyman. You know, Shawn, what made those trees shake? I mean, violently, they were shaking. So, you know, you think back about little things like that. It's just like, you know, once I started getting into this, I look back like one day I was here at the house by myself, and I was cleaning out the garage, and I heard this woman, and she was wailing. I mean, it was the most mournful wail, and it just hit my heart. I'm like, oh my heavens, what has happened? Something has happened to one of my neighbors. And I just dropped everything and I jumped in my truck. And, you know, we're all close enough to where it's no big deal. And I went down the drive and I started driving up and down my gravel road, and it was still wailing. And I was going towards that sound. And I went up to neighbors' doors and was knocking, you know, trying to find out, what has happened, and it just quit. And, you know, I didn't think anything about it. It's like, okay, it was nothing. But, you know, the more you think back on little things like that, it's like, what was that? What was that? You know, when you hear about people talking about hearing babies in the woods, it's
Right.
like, was that thing trying to lure me in? You know, and maybe it wasn't anything, but it just makes you stop and think. You know, when you're more aware of these things, you know, not everything is a Bigfoot, not everything is a dog man, but it just makes you more aware.
Oh yeah, there's more to it than these little rectangles people have gotten used to. The smartphone crap. There's more to it than
Right.
what's in your hand. You just look up and pay attention. I've seen people.
Or the little boxes that they live in. You know, everybody has their little box that they
Right.
live in, and they don't want to think outside that box. You know, and I mean, guilty as charged. I used to be one of those, but it's just like the more you go into this, and the more and I mean, you don't listen to just one person, and you don't take everything for the gospel. But it's just like when you start putting everything into sequence, it's just like, wow, yeah, yeah. You know, don't ever not believe anyone. And just like, like when your children come to you and said, I see a boogeyman in my closet, or I see a boogeyman outside my window. You know, parents, wake up. Believe your child. Believe them. At least investigate into it. We cannot be so closed-minded. We
Oh yeah.
can't.
Yeah, my dad. I remember living in this trailer court that was cornered on two sides by a huge cemetery. And I saw ghosts in that trailer. I couldn't tell you how many times. Dad, I'd holler out, "Mom, Dad!" He was like maybe 5, 6, 7 years old at the time. And so
Oh,
Dad would say,
wow.
"Yeah, don't worry about it. It's not going to bother you. There's nothing going to touch you or anything like that." By golly, when we moved out, he pulled in, had old green Oldsmobile, four door. My brother, my sister, and myself were in the back seat, and Dad pulled into this Payless shopping little lot for the grocery store. I thought, well, he's going to pop in there, and we just had moved out and moved the trailer to a different location. He said, I wasn't going to tell you kids this until after we moved out. And then he proceeded to tell me a bunch of ghost stories to tell us. And I was like, I was like relieved that he actually saw it. Two, I got kind of ticked off that, oh boy, you told me
Yeah,
there
you
wasn't nothing
would.
there. Yeah.
Because that's what they tell you. Oh, there's no such thing as ghosts. And even as an adult, I know we had sold our first house that we lived in, and we were renting another one. And the man that lived there, I knew him, and he was not a kind man, and he was not a kind man to women either. And my son, oh gosh, what was he? Probably 3 or 4. And he was at the point to where he still wanted to sleep with mama, and we were sleeping in this one bedroom. And I remember waking up and the room was so cold. And I look up to the right hand corner of that bedroom, and here's this black mass. And it was just radiating hate. I mean, just hate. And other weird things happened in that house. I mean, the lights would flip on and off. And I had 2 Siamese cats, and they would sit at the top of the stairs going down into the basement, and they would bristle up and they would growl. And when I went down in that basement, I mean, the hairs on the back of my neck, my whole body, I would just go cold and just shiver. I was never so glad to get out of that house. I mean, it was haunted. And I wasn't the only one that lived in that house that had experiences. So, what are they? Are they demons? Is it residual? Because I do believe in the whole residual thing. You talk about like Gettysburg, where people hear cannons going off still, and soldiers crying, and gunshots. I do believe. I think our that veil is thinning. I mean, am I crazy? I mean, I feel like a lot of people are they're just feeling it, especially the way the world is now. I mean, we have never seen such chaos in our world.
Well, after my near-death experience, I knew before I would die, I would see the first days of the end of days. Their first coming.
Thank you.
And now I'm looking at it as like, well, am I going to die soon? Because I'm seeing these days now. But it's you look
Yeah.
at it, and I agree, the veil is thinning, without a doubt.
Yeah.
The veil is
Anybody
thinning.
that studies the Bible, I mean, the whole thing with the cryptids, those of us that study this and we're just, just so involved in it, and it's just, I think all of this just goes hand in hand in hand. What is it in Revelation? Was it in Revelation or Daniel, to where the beast of it's Revelation, isn't it? Where the
Mhm.
beast of the world, and you just start putting it all together, and it's just, I truly believe in my heart of hearts, and I've always believed this since I was a small child, that I would see the end of things, and it's just, come
Well,
Jesus come. That's all I gotta say.
I remember my mother, she took us out to these Southern Baptist churches, and I can remember, a conversation, it was all hellfire and brimstone kind of church. And I can
Oh
remember
yeah,
them talking about the end of days is nigh, the end of days is nigh. And I'm thinking, well, I'm what, 7, 8, 9 years old, something like that. And I was like, well, I don't know. Is this the end of days? I was like, well, it's brand new. Now I'm looking at it. I wish I was back then, living back then,
oh,
because
I
it was
know, right?
nothing like it is now. Holy cow! But
No, you
you
just
can't
look at
you can't go down that
everything in the
path
world.
on YouTube. You can't say a whole lot on YouTube because they'll flag your channel, or block you, or literally just take you off the air and delete your channel for saying a series of words,
And it's
and that's it.
pathetic. It is pathetic. What happened to our rights?
Ah,
It is,
it is what it
what has
is.
happened. And if anybody can look at this world and say, "Oh, it'll be all right. It's going to get better,"
You may
I
have
hope
a
and pray.
respite for a
I do.
little bit, but I think we'll be looking back at, right before this world event that happened in the last couple of years. Right before that, we'll say we had it good then. And that's
Yes,
all I'm going to say
you
about it.
are absolutely right. And I'm just so thankful for, gentlemen like you and DW and Salt and just all you people that are trying to bring the truth, and if people will just open their minds and their hearts and truly just, you know, open your eyes, people, it's just, it's happening. And If anything, like I said, like my husband and my son, avid hunters, if they could just be that much more prepared whenever they go out. God gave us this wonderful, beautiful world. Go out and enjoy it, but just be aware.
Yeah. Yeah. And folks, if you don't believe me, don't believe the news. But if you believe the news, don't believe the news because, you look on the news and everybody's against everybody. And I can honestly tell you, I've got some of the greatest neighbors on the planet. Literally.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. I've got a little fella. God bless him. He actually mowed my yard the other day. My sister had some car trouble. She actually lost her car to hitting a deer. And he kind of noticed that the yard was growing up because my sister would come down and mow, and she wasn't able to come down and mow. And one thing led to another, and he come down and he started mowing. I handed him a few bucks. I said, "Here, for your trouble." Well, actually, my aunt handed it to him. I handed it to her, and she handed it to him. And said, "You don't have to weed eat or anything." Would you believe it? That old boy weed eated and mowed my yard. I'm like, holy cow.
Yep. That's what I'm talking about, and that's what we need to do. And, the media and everything has got us just hate one another. No, it does not have to be that way.
No,
Absolutely
as long
not,
as
because we aren't that way.
no, there's plenty of good people out there. And news loves to, isolate and hire crisis actors and crap like that to portray that we are at the ends of our means, that everybody's against everybody. No, it's not like that at all, folks. There are good people. There are good people out in the chat right now, and good people listening to my show for whatever reason, but I appreciate you.
Well, yeah, they give you the shirt off their back. I mean, they would. They seriously would. And of course, you're more leery nowadays because there's people that take advantage of loving, giving people. But you know what? You got to try. You got to try. That's just in my nature. And I've got a lot of knife wounds in my back, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm just going to keep on keeping on. And that's what we all need to do.
Oh yeah, definitely. You just got to have faith. That's one, faith and knowledge that, what you're being told is all a lie. And,
right.
There's not as many bad people out there as they say they are. Can one person mess up a lot of people? Absolutely. Unfortunately, that's just the way God has, gave us the will of choice. It gave us the freedom of choice. Unfortunately, somebody can choose to do something very mean, but he or she or whatever you want to call them will pay for it in the end. No doubt about it.
They will. And there's thousands upon thousands out there that are the complete opposite. And like I said, we give you the shirt off the back. So that's what we got to hold to. But it was awesome talking to you. I'm going to get off here so somebody else can call in. Your show is just amazing, and I thank you so much for what you do.
Well, holy cow. This has been an absolutely great conversation I had with you. Absolutely, Michelle.
Well, thanks very much. I've got more.
Well, anytime you want to call in and tell it, anytime you want to call in and tell us a story, that'd be great. Next Saturday night, I'll be over on the Dark Waters channel. We'll be doing Occupy Halloween for the remainder of the weekend to really get into that stuff and get knee deep and eyeball deep into all things spooky. So we just hold on to your hats, folks. All right.
Well, I have no doubt it's going to be awesome.
I'm sure it will. At least they're going to give it a good college try, that's for sure.
Right on.
All right. Thank you for calling in, Michelle. You have a great one.
Thank you. Everyone have a great evening. Bye-bye.
All right. Michelle from Missouri. Holy cow. That was a good rounded call. I like that kind of caller. She had a purpose and a whole lot of stories behind it. And I just like her attitude, like how she just plain up stated. Folks, if you are part of the Dark Waters family and you're part of the Chasing the Truth Chasers, you can, help the show out by hitting the thumbs up on that channel and subscribing. Or if you, want to, The first two options are the best. If you want to slide me a couple of pennies or a pittance or whatever, I've got two ways, PayPal and a Cash App, which is on the screen over on YouTube. And in the description of this YouTube live show, links to those. But thank you to all those folks that have contributed to Chasing Truth in the past. And, Razor Wolf, absolutely. Roids, Survival Gear, Dorian CT, Scott, Aisha, Donna, One Man Band. Yeah, I saw that comment about not mentioning the unmentionables, cryptids. Alan, Bigfoot Anonymous, Kenneth, Stimulate. Buddy, I hope that you're doing better since your mama passed. Happy and Lisa R. All those fine folks. Indeed, Knuckles. Well, that list just keeps on growing. I appreciate each and every one of you folks that want to do that have actually, shared a few pennies my way. And God bless you for doing that. Let's go back to, let's see, I've just seen something that I actually love talking about. Bathsheba says, sleep paralysis. I used to have issues in my teens. Luckily, nothing lately. Where I ran sleep labs and did thousands of sleep studies. When I say thousands, I mean literally thousands. I read tens of thousands of sleep studies on top of that. Sleep paralysis is the weirdest thing. And there was a fellow, I forgot what his name was. I was on somebody else's live stream, and they were talking about Bigfoot, sleep paralysis, and dreaming during sleep paralysis was possibly a cause for these sightings of Bigfoot and whatnot. I'm like, we can't really prove that. There's no way. The one thing that people that are trying to become doctors, medical wise or whatever, the one thing they love to write their doctoral thesis about. I have read millions, well, not millions, well, probably millions of words, but not millions of articles, a myriad of articles about sleep. One, it's all theoretical. There's not really a good test that you could scientifically test. Does people, they can't even prove that you have any dreams. They can, from what I understand, they can record some dreams now, and that's on the cutting fringe end of what I kind of think might be happening on the EEG realm. But mainstream neuroscience out there, no, they can't record that stuff, but I think they possibly could. But you can't, that's one of the things. You cannot relate. We don't know why we sleep. We just know we sleep. We know we've got several stages of sleep. Back in the day when I first started doing sleep studies, there were 4 stages of sleep. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, and Stage 4. And then REM was the 5th stage. And then they combined Stage 3 and 4 together and just said slow wave sleep, Stage 3. In the last few years, right before I had to retire. But it's all good. But sleep paralysis is just a weird thing. I actually experienced that in my late 20s. When I actually started thinking about doing sleep. I just become a respiratory therapist, and I dreamt my brother I can remember being in an old trailer that I used to own back in the day. Laying on this, surround couch, and one of these big old ass couches, and just sleeping away. I worked night shift. And my brother, in my dream, was on top of me. And I was cussing him out, saying, buddy, get off of me, get off of me. And I'd wake up, and I could barely move. I mean, it was like, and then I'd fall back asleep, and it was like, and the dream just continued. And I'd do it again. And it got to where it haunted me for a good month or so. And then it just stopped just like that. That's the strangest thing, sleep paralysis. Why we do sleep paralysis, there's so many people out there that could probably say, well, I think it might be this and I think it might be that. Okay, well, there's no way to actually prove it unless you got an EEG popped on you, and they can record, well, these spikes happen or this particular spindle, asymmetrical or symmetrical spindling happens while you're doing EEG. Other than that, they couldn't say this. They can say this occurs electrically, unless you're one of these guinea pigs where you get paid like $50 a night or something like that, and have all kinds of test tubes and crap hanging out of you. They might be able to record what serum levels of certain hormones are occurring, or what stage of sleep you're in while you're sleeping. That's the strangest thing, reading articles or the actual raw data of sleep studies that they actually did for, hell, I read one about a new mattress down in Alabama. Actually, there was an Alabama sleep lab that I went down there. Dr. Pilgrim's where I actually met that fella. He is the grandfather of all things sleep. He was in NASA before NASA was, and started, reviewing sleep and figuring out, well, what happens to astronauts while they're sleeping in 0G or near 0G. And then he went down to the University of Alabama and opened up a sleep school down there. And I went down there before sleep was even taught in colleges. Actually, I was on a couple boards on a couple colleges in SLIP. And in respiratory and sleep, I actually developed a online sleep college course. I'm kind of dating myself, but there you go. I knew that much about sleep. Do I know about that much sleep? Probably a little, but I forgot a whole lot. But there you go. Wow, Michelle from Missouri, thank you for calling in. And I just went off on a complete frickin' tangent that didn't need to happen. And what is this over here? Skype wants to sign in using your key. Okay, I don't know why you want to sign in using my key there for, but okay. That's crazy. This is Chasing Truth on the Dark Waters radio channel over the Paranormal Radio app and on Chasing the Truth Shawn G YouTube. And you are listening to a call-in show called Unscreened Open Lines, Halloween edition for the Halloween week. And we're trying to gather some intel on what is the weirdest thing that's happened to you that could possibly be connected to Halloween. Is it a weird story like my dad waking up in the middle of the night and screaming out, well, who the hell are you? And I remember this when I was a little kid. Earlier I was talking about my dad kind of saying, hey, there's nothing in that house that would bother you. Well, he told me this story after years of being in this trailer court. So, and I wasn't going to tell you this until after we moved out. And he pulled us into this little grocery parking lot called Payless and said there was this ghost one night after a funeral in one of the cemeteries that surrounded almost on both corners of two corners of this trailer court. And he said this ghost walked through the main body of the trailer from the living room into the hallway where the kids' rooms were, my room, my brother and sister's rooms were, looking in each one of them. And the master bedroom, my mother and my dad, was at the end of the trailer. And he said this thing just looked in each one, paused, and walked down and said it was slightly glowing from what he told us in the car. And as he was walking in through the end of the trailer, he jumps up and hits the light switch and says, who the hell are you? And this thing walks through the end of the trailer. Which the weird thing is, I remember him screaming that out in the middle of the night. And I fall asleep, and he actually left the trailer that night. And then he said that he followed this orb. It turned into a orb, I assume, from what the dad said. And I've told this probably about a half a dozen times over the last 3 years, plus years I've been doing this podcast / radio show. But it's the strangest thing. I can kind of remember him saying this, but he definitely said that this orb went into each neighboring trailer, and he could see a slight glow in each trailer as it apparently walked from end to end of each trailer and would go to the next trailer. And then he lost track of it when it popped out of the end trailer of this line and then floated off into the woods. That is just the strangest one. I've seen ghosts since then. Seen ghosts in hospitals, seen shadow people, shadow creatures, shadow whatever Dragon ZW refers to them, entities, I guess. Seen them all my life. Usually during the hospital, it would be harbingers of death. I would regrettably see one of these things and find a dead body. And then, presume, all of them, I think I helped on the code on each and every one of those. There was like half a dozen of them. And there was one, except I actually misspoke. There was one that I saw a shadow entity across from an ICU bed that I was checking a ventilator on. And the thing just, like a trap door opened up as I was looking at it from its midriff on up, and I never got to its shoulders. And I never got to its chest. It just like it fell through a frickin' trap door. And, of course, that particular person passed away a couple days later. Was it a harbinger? But this is Halloween. Unscreened Open Lines. Halloween week, buddy. Uh-oh. What's going on here? My YouTube looks like it might have just, I don't know. Is it connected yet? Or are you still seeing me? Well, YouTube just fell off, and now it is reconnecting, and I apologize. My OBS studio decided it wanted to reconnect and unconnect and reconnect. So for about 5 seconds, you lost me over on YouTube. Paranormal Rodeo app, you are still going hot and heavy, so there you go. But this is Unscreened Open Lines, Halloween edition, Halloween week, to kind of lead up to the Occupy Halloween event for the Dark Waters family of shows this weekend, and I'm going to be a part of it. Saturday night, my usual show, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Then half hour after, about, I think 9:30 p.m. Central Time, Dark Waters is going to pop on and start doing his show. Then the following day, he actually texted me and said, hey, you want to do Sunday? And I was like, what about? I thought he wanted me to get on camera. I said, I got a face for radio, not a camera face. And if you wanted to look at me right now, you'd see me in a Bigfoot t-shirt, a pair of jogging pants, and a homemade Indian footwear. It was like a little house slipper that Miss T actually got made for me by a little Indian lady up there in Canada. So that's what I got wearing today, and a full growth of beard, and that's how it goes. And yeah, I definitely got a face for radio for sure. But there you go. Let's see what else well, since nobody is calling now, unfortunately, not sure why in the world you guys are so shy. Oh, man, the first time I actually spoke in front of a group of people, my mouth got so freaking dry, I could have drunk 4 gallons of water. I probably did after the little talk I gave on sleep. But after that, oh, man, it's just like something just snapped in me and everything was all right. I remember getting up in the middle of high school class and giving the book report, and I was literally just freaking shaking the podium as I grabbed a hold of both ends for dear life, and stage fright and the whole daggone thing. And then somebody said, hey, you want to do a talk? And I said, well, why not? Yeah, go ahead. You're getting into the higher thing. Oh, here we go. We got another caller on the Unscreened Open Lines. Give me just a second, caller, and get you on the air here. Oh, okay.
Hello.
Unscreened caller, you are on the air.
Oh, hi, Shawn. This is Marie.
Hey, Marie, what's going on with you?
Nothing. Nothing much, except I have some good ghost stories.
Okay, what kind of ghost story you got for us, Marie?
Well, I went to a cemetery recently, and I saw a ghost. It was full-bodied, looked real, human, but she was happy. She looked out of place in that cemetery.
Okay.
And once me and my friend turned around and then turned back around, she was gone.
Wow. So when did this happen?
Like a couple weeks ago.
Was this about the time you saw that dog man or whatever that thing was in the tree?
No. No, that dog man was like years ago.
Okay. All right. So what did you think about it after the fact, after you saw this thing in the cemetery?
Oh, I think it was awesome because she was smiling instead of crying.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it was very out of place, very unusual.
So you
And
usually
she
come
also-
across some sad ghosts, spirits?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, wow. So
But
what
I
other-
hope she made it over.
did you try to aid her to get across over, or you just saw it and it disappeared?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it just disappeared, yeah. Also, I had a dream many years ago when I was 9 or 10. I don't exactly remember the age, but I dreamed about where I was at the Sea of Galilee with Jesus.
Oh, okay. Well, tell us about that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It was like I could feel everything. The wind, see the water. And he had blue eyes, these beautiful blue eyes.
Oh, wow.
And when he said he was doing a lesson on something, children, he was doing something, preaching on children.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
And then after that,
Well, let me ask you about that dream. When you woke up from that dream, how did you feel? Did you feel?
I felt warm, and I felt very warm.
That's
and
cool.
happy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
what else?
Also.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you have another ghost story, or what do you got?
Or I got more in that dream.
Okay. Well, let's go for it. Let's hear it.
All right, Shawn. Well, he was preaching, like I said, on the children, and then he touched me on the shoulder, and I woke right up. I looked into his blue eyes before I woke up.
Wow.
And he said my name, which was not my name at the present time, but in the past time.
Right.
Miriam.
Miriam.
Yes. It's like, do you understand Miriam?
Other than it being a name, no, I don't understand what Miriam
No,
means.
I don't.
Oh.
I don't remember. That's what
okay.
he was asking me.
Oh.
He asked me that question.
Oh, okay. All right. So what did it mean to you? Nothing or something?
Something. Yes, it was something. I wrote the name down. I wrote the details down. But I don't know where the paper went.
Are you one of these dream journalers that you got a journal?
Yeah.
When you have a dream, you write them down?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I do. I wrote it down on the back on the back of a piece of paper somewhere. My mother has that paper. My mama is still alive and stuff like that.
I've come across several people, not a lot, but several people where I've done sleep studies. They either kept a pen and paper journal, or they had a means to actually record them, as pick up a little tape deck or something like that and start recording audio. And it's just strange that they do that.
Yeah, strange. Yeah. Yeah, and the feeling I had when he touched me on the shoulder was warmth.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was happy and warm, and ooh, I'm feeling warm now. And it's not a scary dream, not like the old dreams that I've had.
Oh, okay. Andy Warhol says Miriam is a variation of Mary. So we could be talking about...
Yeah, or in the German.
Yep.
Marie. Yep.
Yep. So there you go. He could have been telling you something that you have not realized yet.
No, I have not realized it yet.
Oh, there you go.
But it was
So,
the Sea of Galilee. It was so beautiful.
oh yeah, especially that's one of the reasons why I asked, how did you feel when you woke up? Stuff like that. People forget to say, well, how did you feel after you woke up having a certain dream? Usually, one of the things that enlightened me to it was I had all kinds of flying dreams.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I had a doctor was talking about flying dreams, and I said, yeah, I have a few of them. He said, well, how do you feel after you wake up? I said, actually pretty good. He said, yeah, every time I have one, I'm pretty elated when I wake up.
Yeah, it's like, whee! Those are fun, Shawn.
Yeah, those were good. And this is one of those things that I can kind of picked up a habit. Not so much when people talk about, I may start doing that if people start talking about their dreams when they call in these live call-in shows I've got.
Yeah.
See what the consensus is. Bad dream, bad feelings, good dream, good feelings, or vice versa. Or maybe
yeah, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Marie,
how's everything?
It's great. Every chance I get to get on this air, I kind of have a little bit of stage fright before I get on the air. And,
me too.
And then poof, I'm on it, and it all goes away, and people start calling for whatever reason. I don't know why, but there you go.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Shawn.
Well, thank you for calling in, Marie. Again, anytime you want to call
welcome.
in, you're more than welcome to.
All right. Bye, Shawn.
Bye-bye. All right, that's Marie, and she's called in ever so often. I think about 3 or 4 shows she's called in about twice. But, yeah, she and I have been friends on Discord for, a couple, 3 years or something like that. Interesting little gal. Very nice, very personable, got a good spirit, no doubt about it. Again, this is a call-in show called Chasing the Truth with Shawn G, Halloween edition, Halloween week edition, kind of a preemptive hello to the Occupy Halloween that the Dark Waters family of shows are going to be doing this weekend. And definitely go over to Dark Waters channel and check that out. I'll be doing my usual show Saturday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time over there on the Dark Waters channel and on the Fringe FM. My first Halloween over there. And holy cow, last Saturday on the Paranormal Radio app, the Fringe FM carried my live show I was doing. I was by far number 1 for that 3 hours I was on. And that's no joke. I've been number 1 every once in a while, but not for 3 hours long. So people must like to hear this type of format. Unscreened open lines means I'm not, I'm waiting for you to call, but I'm not waiting for any particular person to call. I'll take that back. I was kind of waiting for Dragon ZW to call, but I didn't know if he was going to call in or when he was going to call in, but he apparently had some sort of family emergency he had to take care of. And unfortunately, we will not be hearing his crazy paranormal stories with the white-eyed kids and black-eyed kids that he has encountered in little children that he sees while he's in various hospital settings as a patient. Isn't that weird? Have you ever seen a ghost at a hospital? Have you ever, don't want to say anything as a harbinger of death or anything like that? Have you ever been with someone as they finally passed, drew their last final breaths, and they start talking to someone that's not there? Talking to, say a past loved one that passed away, like a husband or wife that passed years ago, or their father or their mother, or best friend that, hadn't been on, living on this planet for ages, and they're talking to them like they're standing right there with you. I have seen it so many times, and I've had the pleasure and the blessing of actually seeing this. Not only with the patients I've, dealt with over the years, I had the blessing of actually being there for the final moments, and I've seen, some family members do the same thing. And it just amazes me. Is it like their family is coming over, friends, loved ones coming over and saying, hey, it's okay. Everything's going to be all right. Is that part of why we do this Halloween thing? The veil between here and the supernatural is, thinning down. Have you heard any strange noises while I've been on the live air tonight? It's every once in a while I do hear some strange stuff. I wish I had. I don't know. I'll have to look and see. Maybe the next caller I'll look and see. I've got a picture of a security camera. Every once in a while during the summertime, I will set up in my dining room because this old house doesn't have central air, no central heating. Well, I guess you could say central heating because it's got a oil furnace. And I just turned it on for the first freaking time this year, last night. Got down to like 30-something. This old house, with its old bones, gets pretty cold sometimes. But it does tend to hold the heat. But during the summertime, I'll open up all the windows and I'll get over and wind up popping, open the windows and doing my show either in the living room or in the dining room. Well, since I live in this old house all by myself, there's not too many people objecting. Hey, Shawn, you can't set up your radio equipment over there. You can't do that on the dining room table. Oh, well, nobody's objecting. I've got the only vote in the house, so I sometimes do that. But there was one photograph, an alert that Miss T actually said, Shawn, there's something going on. Shows me this video of something where I'm set up right now. Just to fully disclose, I'm set up in the bedroom, my bedroom that I've got both my Macs and stuff, my wheelchair and everything, where I sleep and whatnot. I got it set up in here. But during that day, I think it was this year, actually, this summer, something was sticking its head out of this very frickin' bedroom that I'm in right now, out of the doorway, looking down the hallway. And I've shared it on this show a time or two. I don't know if it's this particular channel, but I definitely have shared it over on the Dark Waters channel. And it's still kind of, I don't know, just, it's uneasy. Am I scared of it? Nope. I'm not scared of anything supernatural whatsoever. Do I get jump scared? Hell yeah, anybody get jump scared. You jump out of a corner and literally just make me jump out of my skin? Shoot, yeah, I will. But anyway, that if I can find that, I'll share it with you this show or definitely Saturday's show or maybe next week. I'll definitely look that up. And I've got the video. I definitely have the video, the little 10-second segment. You can see me and my big old butt in my wheelchair doing this frickin' show in the dining room. And then right down the hallway, there's something sticking its head out of my bedroom, looking down the hallway. Is that possible? Well, yeah, absolutely. You got to have an open mind doing this kind of show. And sometimes doing this show means some of the supernatural kind of peels over and starts doing some interesting things. And that's one of the reasons why I started doing prayers before and after each show. And it has helped, is all I can tell you. The power of the word of Jesus Christ, the name Jesus Christ, absolutely has ultimate power when it comes to that. Even with UFO sightings, believe it or not. Miss T called me one night, and her mother was outside doing something. Oh, wait a minute, we got another caller. Give me just a second. I'll try to remember to get that story that I just started. And caller, give me just a second to get you on the air, and you are on the air. Unscreened caller. What's your name and where are you from?
Well, I'm from Illinois, and you can call me Andy Warhol's wig.
Andy Warhol's wig. I have seen you say howdy a couple times in the chat over the last few weeks. So what's going on with you today, sir?
Well, I know you like missing time stories, so I thought I might call in and give you mine.
Oh, man. Did you actually hear what was that fellow's name from North Carolina? I'll remember here in just a second. Did you actually hear that live call in when he called in 23 hours after he had his missing time?
Yeah, I heard that one.
Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, Andy, so let us have it. What was your missing time story?
Well, I was at work. At the time I was cleaning a bar, mopping up and sweeping up the broken glass and whatnot. And I decided I wanted to take a break. So I'm walking across the main room of the bar and headed towards the bar stools. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting on one of the bar stools with a half-smoked cigarette in my hand. How that happened, I don't know.
So how
It
much
was
time?
like
How much time was passed? Would you think?
it was uh, judging by the amount of cigarettes smoked, I'd say maybe 5 minutes. But it was like I blinked.
And it was
1 second I'm in the middle of the floor, and then next I'm sitting on this bar stool.
that's well. Did was anybody there that witnessed what you was doing, or were you alone?
I was alone. I went in early in the morning um, to do my work because by the time they got the place shut down and cleared out of customers, it would have been like 3 o'clock. So I generally didn't get there till 7.
Oh, okay. Do you normally have any kind of supernatural paranormal events that happen to you, or is this just a one-off?
Well, I've had a handful of one-offs. It's nothing that happened in on any kind of a regular basis, but it's just every once in a while something weird will happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Well,
when
do you mind telling us one? Another one?
I sure.
Okay.
Um, I think I think it was the first time something like this happened. Um, I used to have these every once in a while. When I was real little, I would be I'd be in bed at night, just like at that dozy state before you drop off, and
Oh
all of
yeah.
a sudden I could hear. All of a sudden, I just got this feeling they're there again, and all just as casual as could be, I would feel this butt sit down on the side of my bed. Couldn't tell whether it was male or female, but it's just every once in a while, somebody without a body would just sit down on the side of the bed with me.
So you actually felt the pressure of a corporeal
I
being
actually,
sit on the side of the bed.
I felt the mattress depress.
Oh wow, that's strange. That sounds like something my grandmother would tell or has told me in the past. That's just strange. So how many times did that actually occur? Just once, or a few times, or you
That
said they?
particular thing, yeah, that particular thing, that happened several times.
Okay.
Um,
Did you associate it with anything? Any particular event, or if you saw something or something occurred that this particular uh, thing would sit on the side of your bed in the middle of the night?
um, there was nothing I could ever really attach it to. The only, the only thing I could ever think that it might be was maybe my grandma, my dead grandmother, was coming by to visit or something.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a fairly narrow butt, and grandma was a happy little thing.
Oh, okay. All right. So what would happen? Just the depression in the mattress, and would the
Yeah,
thing, whatever it
I
was that sat down, would it move around or just set still?
it just sat there. It just sat down like it wanted to take a breather or something. Just like I'm just passing through, but I need to stop and catch my breath. Maybe have a rest.
Well, so many times especially after I do shows like this, I will see things out of the corner of my eye, or actually see full body apparitions. The last one I saw was a man dressed in 1800s garb with a long sleeve white shirt, with sleeves rolled up to his elbows like he was out ready to do something, suspended pants, standing in my frickin' living room, and I'm in my kitchen and going, well, what was that? It was after a frickin' show. I don't know who I was talking to. I think it was one of the woo-woo guests I've had in the past. But, yeah, I just wonder if they see or walk by these things that are supernatural, ghosts, if you will, walk by or move by my presence, this house, and see that, hey, there's somebody in there that can recognize us. Walk in and say, hey, what's going on, brother?
I can give you an idea on what might be going on there.
All right.
You've spoken a number of times about your death experience.
Right.
A lot of times what will happen in that kind of case is the person will bring back a little piece of the light with them. And these spirits are attracted to that light.
Now, so I have a tendency to believe that kind of fits. That kind of fits.
It's not that they're drawn to you. It's that they're drawn to the light that you're carrying with you.
Well, that's possible. They kind of see the connection between the living person, which would be me or whoever, to the other side, and say, "Hey, what's that connection there? Why is that showing up?" Yeah, I could see being curious. We're curious people. We're curious beings. Why not?
Sure. Now, the only thing I ever had happen like that was one time when I was living in a rooming house. I was headed up the spiral staircase one time, and I rounded the corner and looked up at the top of the stairs, and all of a sudden there is this. It's like the gray shape of a person.
Right.
It was like somebody had cut out a profile of someone out of cardboard. It was gray. You couldn't see through it, and it was just standing there. And as soon as I saw it, it was gone.
Did it have a hat on?
No.
Okay.
It was just a basic outline that I remember. I could tell that whatever it was, you could, like I said, you couldn't see through it. And it didn't look like a gray person. It was just this like shadow, like a flat shadow that you couldn't see through.
That is, well, I can say that I have seen things like that. Usually it's so fleeting, it's like half of a second. And I've actually had so many occasions where I've, kind of caught it out of the side of my eye and think, why did I not just hold that gaze instead of, just like turning around, and as you're turning around, your gaze kind of makes that connection, and then you just keep on going and looking around, and then you flip her back around, and there it's not there anymore. But I have seen stuff like that recently, as early as or as close as earlier today in my hallway. That's the strange thing about it. And usually, I've already said prayers and stuff for blessing of the house. I usually say that about once a day, if not multiple times a day. But I just don't. The one thing, I know that stuff is there. I know that the ether is out there and it's always around us. I just don't like waking up to this stuff. Kind of wondering, okay, why is that crap standing on the side of my bed? Ugly looking son of that kind of stuff.
That's too personal.
Yeah, that's that kind of stuff there, standing on the side of your bed, looking at you, short, there's been about 2 or 3 events. There was one that was a shadow. I had my bedroom rearranged from what it is now. But how I had it, I had where I could see the window that I can see right now while I'm doing this podcast, while I'm laying in bed. And there was a bureau with a mirror over in the corner, and I woke up and got up on my elbows and looked over, and there's this dark mass, about maybe barely 5 feet. Looked at it, and this was maybe a few months after I'd moved back into, living here full time. And I just looked at it and I said, I'm going to figure out if I can stick a broomstick up your ass. And the thing just leaped out of here and didn't make a sound, and my door was closed. Yeah.
I've heard you tell that story.
Yeah, I can still see it. I can almost sense it to a certain degree, but it's just one of those things that you kind of wonder. And I had one occasion where I saw this creepy thing. It's on the edge of, was I half asleep when I woke up, or did I wake up and just say, oh, crap, get out of here, and then go back to sleep? And I have woke myself up so many times rebuking something in my sleep and wake up like I was talking in my sleep and start rebuking, or just assume that I was talking in my sleep at the time. Last one was, I was in this house, or this room, with a couple other people, and there was this big UFO coming at us from outside, and you see it through the window, and I said, I want to take care of this. And I slapped my hands and held my hands up. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. And I woke up and my hands were up in the air doing that. And I was like, holy cow, what was that? So,
a lot of times when we're asleep, people tend to astral project. You leave your body.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it's entirely possible that what you're doing in astral form, your body is following along with you.
Yeah, true.
So
I kind of wonder. I've talked to people that say, do astral project? Do we ad lib astral project without even meaning to? I dare say, yeah. And that's one of the things, like I talked about, sleep and dreaming. Do they know why we dream? No. Is it particular something that you could say, well, we're probably working out some problem or something? Well, okay, how do you explain, flying over an area? You're not working out a problem flying over an area, or, over a train trestle, or whatever you're flying, or my flying times have been.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of problem are you acting out like that? Or are you actually astro projecting yourself into a certain area?
I don't think you're necessarily working out any kind of problem. I mean, when I was little, every once in a great while, I'd have what I call my magic bed dreams. I'd have be having some kind of dream, and then all of a sudden, it was like I was in my bed, and I would come flying through the air on this bed, through the wall, right in line with my my actual bed. And whenever it happened, I would just sit straight up in bed, like somebody popped me up.
Right.
What was going on to cause that? I suppose that at that age, my mind had to come up with some kind of reason why I'd be flying through the air.
Mm.
Or maybe I had seen bed knobs and broomsticks by that point.
True.
I don't know.
I have this thing where I rarely dream about family members, and if they have passed, I maybe dreamt of a family member once after they passed. I have yet to dream of my brother, but I've heard his voice disembodied. Heard my dad's voice disembodied, but I've never dreamt of either one of them dreamt of my grandfather and my grandmother and my sister in the same freaking dream. My sister's still alive. And it's just, are they reaching out to me and saying, hey, son, we're thinking about you, or you just need to have this, connection for a moment? Or what are they trying to convey or offer in that connection while you're dreaming?
It's anybody's guess.
Yeah, it's.
I would suppose
strange.
It depends on what's going on in your life at the time.
Actually, that's one of the reasons why the last caller, Marie, after she said, I dreamt of Jesus Christ on the Sea of Galilee, I said, well, how'd you feel when you woke up after one of those dreams? Wonderful. And I can quite honestly, after I dreamt about my grandfather, knowing that he was dead, and I was fully aware that I was having a dream, in my dream, self-aware, and followed him into this church, and he was dancing around, and this church turned into this mega cathedral. It was one of these little side road churches with maybe at most you could probably fit 50 people in this building, elbow to elbow. And as soon as he walks into the back end, and my sister and I in the dream run in to chase after my grandmother and my grandfather, which I chose to chase after Papa, and run in, and you could see him bebopping around amongst, I couldn't tell you how many hundreds of people inside this church, which was humongous. It was like Harry Potter, going into that little tent in Harry Potter, and it was as big as a house. But this was to the nth degree in this dream. And after I woke up, seeing my grandfather in that dream and dancing around, and he, at the last moment, I said, he was fading away, and I said, are you fading away? He said, I'll see you again, son. Something to that tune. And I woke up, and the entire house felt like a new spring day. It was like the first time I really recognized what a honeysuckle smell was when I was a teenager. That kind of dream. The whole house for days felt warm, inviting. It was like everything was right in the world.
Something like that. It sounds like the purpose of the dream was just to let you know that he was in a good place. He was happy.
Yeah. I have no doubt he was in a good place. It was, wasn't needing to. Me trying to remember this, I wasn't needing to have a dream like that, but it was one of those nice dreams to have, and it was like,
the kind that you want.
Yeah, one is, you definitely don't want to have these succubus dreams where there's crap standing on top of you and waking up to crap on the side of your bed and all that kind of stuff. I would rather not have those anymore. Or having to wake up and rebuke things, or, I remember one dream I was being chased by something in my dream. This was shortly after I was really getting used to, my stump had fully healed, I believe, at that point. And I was kicking something in my dream, and I remember kicking with my left leg in the dream. I woke up, and that was one hell of a cramp, I can tell you, in that left leg. It was just strange.
I got you thinking about that your leg the other day, and I thought, it would be just funny as hell if somebody asked him how he lost it, and you told him, "Oh, I got it caught in a butt kicking contest." Got it.
Well, I remember
it got stuck.
Yeah, it got stuck. Yeah. When after my dad had passed away, the last day of my 3-month stint in the rehab hospital, we couldn't have his funeral because the ground had frozen so much. And it was months after that, and we finally had his funeral. And actually, no. With the gravesite, we had his funeral within days of me leaving the hospital, but we couldn't inter him. He had to be his remains had to be stored in a little vault system that was at this cemetery that most of my family on my dad's side is. But where am I going with this thing? Oh yeah, during the funeral, the actual funeral, and it was snowing and icing and all this other stuff, and my niece's newly acquired husband come up to me, said, "Sorry to everything's going on," and he kind of looked at my leg, and I said, "I lost my leg. If you find one laying around, let me know about it." And he just broke out laughing. It's kind of stupid. One of the things that Miss T bought me was I lost an arm and a leg, but I negotiated T-shirts, and I've got one of those. And I've got one that she bought me says, what was it? "What are you looking at, you two-legged freak?" Which, I don't have any problem. I got, it's obvious I've got one missing leg. I'd be sitting out on the porch every once in a while and, in shorts, and somebody will walk by. "How'd you lose that leg?" "I cut myself shaving," or something like that. Yeah. So
I like that.
Yeah. Well, how are you supposed to react to something like that? You're like, okay, obviously it was a traumatized thing, but might as well just make light of it. There's no sense in saying, "Hey, I was stupid. I was drunk driving one night and wound up in a frickin' car accident. It was all my frickin' fault. God spared anybody else being hurt." But anyway, I was the one that got the brunt end of this thing, and I was stupid enough to drink. I still have PTSD to this day. I probably will never be behind another wheel of a car. Have not touched one drop of anything that's alcoholic since then, but I don't think I'll ever drive again. Never.
Well,
but that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I paid my dues, paid society for what I did, and God helped me. God blessed me that I didn't hurt anybody but me. So there you go.
Yeah.
The only statistic was I'm one leg down. Got one foot in the grave, so to speak. So yeah, there you go.
You're minus a leg and plus or up 4 wheels.
Oh yeah, at least I don't have a car payment and an insurance payment and all that other crazy crap, and have to spend $5 a gallon per gas. It's getting there anyway. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There's always a silver lining if you really look at stuff when it comes to these kinds of things.
Well, it's just a matter of perspective. If you try, you can generally find something to be grateful about things with. Like, yeah, I missed my bus, but the bus crashed.
Well, you kind of wonder, was it supposed to? If you rushed and you missed a bus or you missed whatever and you couldn't make it, and whatever mode of transportation wound up in a god awful wreck, and you survived for it, was that God saying, "Hey, buddy, you're not supposed to be doing that"? Absolutely. I have no question that would probably, hey, it wasn't your time to die. And believe you me, I missed my time. Well, actually, I think I did die, and I just begged and pleaded and argued with God to bring me back, and here I am doing this, saying, "Hey, God's real. God's out there. Don't think He's not, because He is."
Well, like you said, you had things you felt you wanted to do.
Well, I didn't argue, say, "Hey, I wanted to go water skiing," or "I had to go eat that final piece of barbecue," or whatever that I love. It was like, "Hey, I got to go help these 8 people." I remember arguing crazy with God, and all I would get back was, all you just have to do is wait just a moment, and everything will be done, and their lives will be spent, and they'll be right here with you. You just have to wait a moment. And then I just said, I need to go back. And so I made my mind up, and then all of a sudden just everything snapped. I was in a land of bliss without any pain, without any worry other than the 8 people I was worrying about. And I came back to this. Have I met those 8 people? I met about half of them from my count, maybe more, but I think this radio show was part of it. I thought, hey, I'm going to get out and start talking about this other side that people kind of tend to say, no, don't worry about this. There's nothing like a God out there. And it's turned out that it's even stranger than when I went in. The weird thing is before my near-death experience, before the leg-altering situation that I wound up in, it was the end of 2015, November 17th was when I woke up. And before that, Trump was not. I think that there was some, scuttlebutt in the background that I remember him kind of saying, "Well, I might run for it, and may not." He's done that before for president. Then when I woke up, I'll be son of a gun if he wasn't front runner in the Republican Party. And I'm like, what happened? And that was one of my first clues. Like, I'm not in the same exact spot where I wound up being, where I left. And I've had a couple of discussions. Had a couple of discussions about it. Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of got that same feeling about Trump myself. What happened? Because I had the feeling before the election that he wasn't supposed to win by any stretch of the imagination. And all of a sudden, here he is.
Yeah. I don't know. Just for letting everything out. I am a Trump supporter. I will actually, years before that, every 4 years rolled around, I said, this country needs to be run like it's a corporation or we'll never get out of the situations that we're in. And I wasn't thinking about Trump at that time, but I was thinking, hey, this needs to be run like a corporation, not like a personal piggy bank for every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has an idea that, hey, we need to spend X amount of billions of dollars on some sky-high pie in the air kind of deal, which I think that's what we're probably going to wind up. I'm not going to get too political, folks, so don't worry about that. But anyway, Trump, before my near-death experience, Trump wasn't even a factor in my eyes. Was I, kind of political? I was leaning political a little bit there as I was, getting older, but Trump wasn't even close to being where he was when I woke up out of that near-death experience. So is that a clue that I'm not in the Kansas anymore? Yeah. Along with a couple hundred other instances I could probably spend a few hours trying to explain to you guys. But, I don't know. Are there alternate universes? Absolutely. I saw so many versions of myself in my near-death experience, it's ridiculous.
Oh, I got the proof of alternate universes at the end of my hand. I am. This'll rock your world.
All right.
Let's
hear it.
Let's see, it was probably 15 years ago, somewhere around there by now. See, I used to have 5 normal fingers on the end of each one of my hands. And one day I'm sitting there fooling around with whatever it was that I was doing, and I realized that my the index finger on my right hand is bent at the knuckle, bent towards the outside. Yeah, at this point, it had been straight for about 55 years. And all of a sudden, I looked down at it one day, and it's bent.
And it's bent.
And I know I've never broken it. I would remember that.
Well, that's just. So, what did you find out happened to your finger after you realized, hey, I got a bent finger now?
Oh, I never had it looked at or anything. I figured that it didn't hurt. It works fine.
Okay.
It just bent. So it's like, okay, that's weird.
Well, there you go.
Honestly, that's my reaction to a lot of the stuff that's happened to me.
Oh man, yeah, that sounds like that gooseberry bush story I've told a few times on the show. That never existed, but in my reality, before the near-death experience, it did exist in this backyard here. And that's just one of several hundred examples of, hey, I'm not in the same body I was previously, without a doubt. Are there people here that I love and care for that feel and talk the same as usual? Yeah. Here's another one. I probably haven't told this one. My sister had a car accident. And I found out this after the near-death experience. After her car accident, she can't remember a lot of her childhood. But prior to that, I remember the car accident, but nothing to the tune of her missing time like that, missing her entire childhood. But now I have a. When I say, hey, do you remember this when we were little kids? Shawn, I don't remember a whole lot of my childhood. And I was like, oh, yeah. So, there's some drawbacks. Here I am doing this. But there's definitely, this ain't the same place I grew up in. Do I remember being in this old house way back when? Yep, sure do. But there's a lot different here than what I do recall. Wish I could prove it other than these, anecdotal stories that I tell. It's like trying to explain why we dream. Or, have you had a near-death experience? Well, prove it. Well, all I can tell you is I'll give you my word I had one. But other than that, no. Perhaps that's the way of the universe. Supernatural is meant to be experienced, not proven.
Well, if yours happened in the hospital, you can prove it. Something like that should be in your medical records.
Well, actually, I did tell a couple of doctors in my near-death after the fact. When I woke up in another hospital, I said, I experienced this. One actually kind of said, okay, and, made a note. Another one actually prayed with me. And, is there a medical connotation to that, hey, this old boy said that he had a near-death experience or experienced something while he was under for 10 days? I don't know. I haven't looked. I could probably go find it if I wanted to look through 3 months worth of medical records and, peruse that chart over there and go out of my way. And how many cents a page? I think it's like maybe 50 cents a page at one time. Last time I looked into getting medical records. But, that's pretty hard. And now, here's something, folks. There's a thing called Health Information Privacy Protection Act in the United States of America. I had somebody call me today saying, hey, you have been chosen to take part in a survey for the state of Virginia. We want to talk to you about your health care. And I said, have you heard of HIPAA? HIPAA? What are you talking about? The Health Information Privacy Protection Act. No. We're not going to talk about that. I said, you just said you're going to ask me about my health. No. And then hung up. So be careful, folks. That's what they're trying to do, is gather information that is by law private. You can get a whole hell of a lot of trouble sharing information that you should not be able to share. You can get fired, license taken away, and all this other stuff. But people, just offhandedly say, yeah, I've got this and I've got that. Honestly, when it comes to this whole thing that the world's going through right now, I could care less if you took the Kool-Aid or not took the Kool-Aid or whatever reason you got behind it. That's your business and not mine. And please don't nose into my business either. And I won't ask about yours. And that's it. That's my stance on health. So there you go.
Well, that a lot of times that kind of call is nothing more than trying to figure a way to get into your bank.
Pretty much.
I mean,
It was
at some point they're gonna be asking you for your social security number. And once they get a couple key bits of information, if they're good, that's all they need, and they can get into your bank account.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out, well, let's ask about some, they got security questions. You always got weird security questions, and I randomly pick security questions, and then I've got 2 or 3 different answers that I give security questions that means nothing to what's your favorite color, what's your favorite car, and I'll, this is just anecdotally saying, I like a rare steak, and that'll be my answer to those questions. Something's totally offhanded that I will remember, but I will not divulge. But there you go. But they're cunning, and for the folks in the United States, you do not and should not share your information, your health information, or anything about you that you do not want to. That is your God-given right, and by law, your right as a citizen of the United States. Unfortunately, they're trying to bully you into sharing your information that is by law private.
Well, that's the whole reason why I don't have a Facebook account. Not that I don't trust Facebook, but what happened is somebody managed to hack my account, and what they did was they sent me a message through Facebook telling me that they needed proof of who I was. I had been blocked from my account, and they needed proof of who I was in order to unblock me. And I sat there and I thought, I don't remember having ever heard of anyone being put in this position before, having to prove who they were to have a flippin' Facebook account.
Right.
And so I kindly declined their offer.
Well, it should be you, the one that's calling up or trying to reach out and say, hey, I want to unblock my Facebook account, and reaching out to the proper people at Facebook or wherever you reach out to. I don't put enough on there to, heck, the last time I was on Facebook, I got tired of saying, well, yeah, I could see that you're eating at XYZ restaurant for the 18th time, or, yeah, that does look like a pretty good steak. And I got tired of looking at that. I was like, I don't need to know what you're doing after work or whatever. You can tell me that tomorrow if I, have a conversation with you. I just don't need to see it every moment of every day and getting hey, Mr. Smith is eating at the Baskin Robbins shop. Nope, I don't care. But, for this show purposes, I do have some family that I keep in contact through Facebook with. Now with my current profile, but by and large, 95% of the time, it is all about show. That's with every social media, whatever I've got. And I get these crazy, you get bot information, bot links and stuff popped into you, like, you didn't read my profile. This is a show profile. This is for a podcast. This isn't me reaching out to get sticky with something. No. So, there you go. Oh, well. Soapbox time. I'm done with the soapbox. But there you go. Jinxie Boo's here. Hey, Jinxie Boo. So, wow. That's a interesting call. I appreciate you calling in.
Oh, that's perfectly all right. Maybe I'll call back again sometime and tell you the rest of it.
Well, that's what this show's about. If you've got a story and you want to share it, now's the time. Just like Andy Warhol's wig just shared his couple of interesting, phenomenal
You're still
stories.
talking to me.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm still talking to you. Hadn't clicked you off yet. You're still on the air, but I appreciate you doing that, calling in and telling us about the strangest thing was something disembodied or some invisible force set on the side of your bed. So,
Well, that and the that thing in that time at the bar, that
missing time, yeah.
Yeah, that was unusual.
Oh man, I can relate, but my missing time that I had was drug related. I got bit by a black widow, and I was on some stuff, and 2 hours passed by just like that. But I was Lulu for sure. And one moment somebody walked out, and the next moment they walked back in with groceries in their arms, like, you just left. Literally. Had time to go to Walmart, come back. And I'm like, holy shit, where the hell was I? Oh, right there, passed out apparently. So, Andy, I appreciate you calling in, brother.
No problem. Glad to talk to you.
Okay.
I'll let you get on with somebody else. There may be someone else wanting to share.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure there are. There's always somebody wanting to call in every once in a while. We'll see. All right, Andy,
I'll talk to you later.
Keep it between the mayonnaise and the mustard, and I'll talk to you later.
I'll do that.
All right, see you.
Bye.
Bye. And that was Andy Warhol wig, not Andy Warhol himself, but Andy Warhol's wig. First time I seen him in chat, I was like, that is the strangest. I like that screen name. There you go. 3 hours into this, almost 3 hours, 2 hours, 52 minutes. Dark Waters, hey, buddy, what's going on? But, I did figure out Dogman cams that you had playing. I figured out how to put a grid up on OBS. I'll try to get with you in the next few days so you can, if you want to use a grid-like pattern that you can put over a live feed, I figured out on OBS. So I'll try to tell you how to do that, and I actually made a grid to do that. But let's see if I have that up and running. Let's see. Grid. Yes, I do, actually. We'll just do this. Get past this little screen right here. And actually, while I was talking about cemeteries, one popped up. There was a Red Door Cemetery in Flat Rock, North Carolina, called St. John in the Wilderness Cemetery. And we're talking about orbs in the cemetery. And I just had to look it up. And the reason I looked it up, because there was a Confederate presidential board member. I forgot what the heck his name is. Anyway, let me tell this story real quick. Christopher Gustavus Miminger. His gravesite is there. And I went ghost hunting there in that cemetery one night. Took pictures, and around this gentleman's gravesite, hundreds upon hundreds of red orbs all over the place. That one night I took pictures there. But that being said, yeah, there you go. And there's Dark Waters sat. But if Dark Waters is still there and you're listening and watching, here is the grid that I came up with. There you go. And you can pop it on and pop it off. Just like that. That's strange. There you go. That's wild how that kind of looked like it filled in. You can put numbers and stuff in the grid, but you can pop that up and stuff. But yeah, that would be key to having a live feed, especially on Dogman Cams, pop that up and say, which grid did you see it in while you're doing a live show doing this stuff. But yeah, go to Dogman or Dark Waters, IamDarkWaters.com. That's definitely a place to go. And then dogmancams.com. But yeah, definitely get with me, and I'll share with you that piece of thing. All you have to do is use a chroma key filter on the thing and then just pop it up, and boom, you got it. But let's go to Flipboard, since nobody's calling in at 931-994-6917. And about 3 hours into it, I'll go past another 12 minutes and nobody calls in. I'm done with this thing. But looks like a pair of surveys. Wherever he's read that one. let's go over Phantoms and Monsters. Lon Strickler actually had to take a medical procedure, so he took a mulligan today and didn't do a blog today. So hope he's doing all right after that medical procedure. But from October 26th, it's Thursday, stories from the creepy outdoors. 3 separate creepy accounts from the outdoors. Oh, here we go. Got another caller. Give me just a second. Unscreened caller, give me just a second. Get you on there, and you are on the air. What's your name and where you from?
BF Bud, Shawn.
BF Bud, what's going on, brother?
Not too much. Just got back from the airport.
So what you coming back from the airport for, or is that top secret?
Oh no, I picked up my stepdaughter from her honeymoon.
Oh.
Yeah, she got married this past Saturday and flew down to Florida with her husband, and me and the wife had to pick him up.
Well, that's cool. So they have a good time?
Yeah, said they did anyway.
Oh, that's cool. So what kind of good stories you got to share, BF?
Well, I heard, like I said, I got back from the airport and I was tired, getting ready to go to bed. And I just had to turn and see what was on YouTube.
And you saw my show.
I saw your show. Yeah, they was talking about somebody was on there talking about dreams. And I was man, I was like, I just had to call in. I've had 2 dreams my whole life. I'm 54. And are we live yet?
Yeah, we're live. We're still live. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. I thought I was still backstage or whatever you call it.
No, I don't have the I don't have that duck stream stuff. I've got OBS. This is totally live, 100%. You're live on the air right now.
Well, I heard somebody talking about a dream, and I've had 2 dreams my whole life. Like I said, I'm 54, and I've had these dreams since I don't know 6 or 7 years old, and maybe somebody could give me a interpretation of it or something.
Sure.
But one of these dreams was I'm floating in the air, but I'm floating over the woods, and I see myself walking on the side of the hill. You know, it's fall, leaves are gone. I'm carrying my shotgun, my orange, and doing some kind of hunting. Must be squirrel hunting or something. And I'm watching myself walking through the woods, and it's almost like you come to a perfect square. The woods stop, bam. You know, and all of a sudden I'm in my body, and I step out of the woods, and it's just a field of flowers. And off in the distance, I see a great big castle. So it seemed like it took me 2 days to walk to the castle. I get to the castle, and the doors are 200 feet tall. And I bang on them doors and wait a few minutes, and all of a sudden the door swings open, and there's nobody there. And when the doors open, as far as you can see, I don't know if you took art in high school or college or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but you draw like a hallway all the way to a point. Okay, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know, as far as you can see, it goes to a point. Well, I start walking down this hallway, and I'm still carrying the shotgun and on, and there's nothing but cell bars all along this hallway, both sides, and there's nobody down there, and I'm walking, nothing. And I finally get to one cell, and there's a guy. His head's away from me, and his feet's towards the bars, towards me. And I'm like, what in the world? So I go up and I grab the bars, put my hands around the bars, and stick my face in there. And he sits straight up on the bed, grabs my finger, and bites it. And I wake up every time. You know,
Wow.
I told you last time I called in that I retired from the prison. I was a prison guard, so I don't know if it was telling me to be a prison guard or to not be a prison guard.
Oh yeah, I remember those prison stories.
Yeah.
That's just. I'd like to ask you one thing. You know, I said I was a drunk driver, and that's how I lost my left leg. And I actually spent a week's worth of time behind bars, paying society for what I did, and I did do that. But did you
like
notice?
I told you, we've all done something where we probably could have been, same situation.
Yeah, true enough. But I noticed that there would be waves craziness happen. It was just like part of the jail would start routing up, and it's like it was it was in waves. Part of the jail would rowdy up a little bit, and then just go all the way through, and all crazy chaos would go through. Did you ever notice that, or what caused that?
Oh yeah, especially the full moon. I mean, you hear policemen talk about that a lot. Same way inside the walls.
That's just strange. And I had the strangest dreams while I was there too. That was just
I remember you saying it.
I remember dreaming of flying. Actually, that was one of the strangest flying dreams. I was following this hawk through the jail, flying through the jail. I don't know why I was dreaming that, but
nobody slipped you any pills or drugs or nothing.
I hope not, but it was interesting to say the least.
But another dream I've had is me and a squad of guys was walking through the jungle in a tiger camo, and I've done a lot of research on this one. But we're walking through a jungle and spaced out, and we walked into an ambush. And we all got hit, and they always say you can't see yourself dying. Well, I didn't see myself dying, but I knew I was going to die. I was laying there on the ground after shot all the heck, and laying on my stomach. I'm trying to act like I'm dead, and well, I see these guys, these Vietnamese guys, come and ram their bayonets into you just to make sure you're dead. And the guy comes up to me and puts his foot on me and rolls me over, and he starts to jam his bayonet in me, and I wake up. Every time I try to see my name tag on my uniform to see what name, and I can never see the name tag. I mean, I was in the military too, and I always told my grandma, I said, I ain't coming back, Grandma. I'll get killed in the military. That's what my dream means.
So how many times did you have this particular dream?
Oh, I have them dreams, at least once a year. It's almost like, because they used to scare me pretty good, and now it's like, I'm sleeping and I'm saying, oh, geez, here comes them dreams again.
All right.
It's weird. So, but I don't know. I don't know if it means, I don't know if it was telling me not to go in the military or go in the military. But the research I done was the tiger camo came out before Vietnam in the early 60s, but it was mostly for special forces. And, then the Army adopted it for later people and all, but every time he rolls me over before he's going to stab me, I try to see that name tag because I want to research that name. Because, I believe in reincarnation, I guess,
Oh, yeah.
But, I don't know, it's just weird. I've always had them dreams, and they've never went away.
That is.
Now I'm out of
strange.
the prison, I'm out of the military, so you wouldn't think that happened anymore.
And you still have
old and retired.
So are you still having that particular dream where somebody's stabbing you?
Yeah. I mean, it's after I'm shot and we're all laying there dying, and they're just rolling us over and stabbing us to make sure we're dead. And he rolls me over, and I come up, guns blazing, and I wake up. I don't even know if I got the guy or not. But I try to look at my name tag now to see what that name is on that uniform.
You still can't make
it.
So what happens?
No.
Is it blurry, or you just wake up before you actually make eye contact with it?
Yeah, just wake up before he rolls me all the way over, I guess. I don't know. The guns are blazing, and so I know I'm pretty well done there. But
oh yeah.
I just figured if I could research that, see if there's a guy by that name who's really, killed in Vietnam or something, because that's what it looks like. I mean, I've done some time in the jungles in the military, but it wasn't Vietnam. I was too young for that. So. But I figured if I could see that name on that name tag, I figured that'd be awesome to research that and see if there's a guy by that name in which there probably, what's the chance? I'm sure there probably was somewhere, especially if it was a Davis or a Smith or a Johnson.
Right. Oh, that's strange.
I've seen you was on. I had to call before I went to bed, and it got me thinking of them dreams. And that's pretty cool.
Oh man, if people would just, that's one of those things. Everybody has a dream or should have a dream every once in a while. you'll take a certain drug or something like that, and you'll go dreamless for a long time. But usually people have some strange dreams. That would be an entire show that I could possibly do, and it'd be phenomenal because, what's better than a dream? Telling about dreams.
Yeah. Especially when they're a good one.
Absolutely.
My grandma always told me that, grandma always told me that everybody dreams every night. You just don't remember them unless you wake up right after. I was like, whatever, grandma. But, so I thought to myself, you know what? Because she told me, she goes, go get a pen and a notebook, put beside your bed. She goes, every time you wake up, write your dream down right then. I said, all right, I'll try that crap and see what happens. And, and here in the first week, I might have, woke up, I'm like, okay, I remember writing that down, And then second, third week, okay, I didn't dream nothing. I just roll over and there's a story I wrote down. I'm like, what? And like I said, it got to be where I wouldn't even remember writing stuff down, and I'd read it, and all of a sudden, I did dream that. I remember that. And it was weird. So I was like, well, I ain't messing with this stuff. I better quit this.
Yeah. So
like I told you last time, I'll go hunt for an 8-foot guy in the middle of the woods and pitch darkness, but it comes to ghosts and spiritual stuff. Not this old boy.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of like along the thing with Vault. Vault says if you can't shoot it, I don't want to research it.
yeah, I like that. That's good.
So I could see that. Yeah, I don't. I've had plenty of people. Last one, Sparks of the Paranormal, a new YouTuber, kind of second-handly met, been on another live stream. He said, I told him a little bit about this old house. I'd love to come over and investigate. He lives over in I think he's in Tennessee now. I said, no, I don't want anybody in my house that investigates paranormal whatsoever. What the hell are you going to bring into my house that's attached to you? Or stir up what's here that's calm. Yeah, stir up what's calm, and you come in here and poke around. No, sirree, Bob. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, you play, you go looking for something, you just might find it.
Yeah, that's a problem. You're looking for something, but whatever you're looking for might be, like laid back and said, oh, yeah, I'll stick my head every once in a while, but now you're looking for me. Well, let me show you what I really am.
Well, that's like a Ouija board. My cousins brought a Ouija board over, and I'd never seen one, and we was sitting down at the table and getting ready to play it. Right. And my grandma walked in, and, oh, my God, you'd think that we'd started a fire in the house or something. She said, you get that thing out of here right now. And my cousin Frank, he's like, hey, we're going to talk to spirits, Grandma. Not in this house, you ain't. She goes, them spirits will lie to you. You don't know who you're talking to. Yeah.
True enough. That's I've had a couple of woo-woo people on here, and I've asked them, I said, how do you know that you're talking to somebody's long lost or dear departed friend or family member or whatever?
I agree.
How do you know that?
You don't. Yeah, you don't.
My with my near-death experience, I had no time for those particular things. Does not move the same way we move. A lifetime to them is just a blink of an eye. So why can't they just wait you out and say, oh, well, hey, look what's on YouTube or what's on TV. Let's watch this live and see what's happening. And they kind of take all your private parts in and say, well, let's mess with this old boy. And, I know he or she lost somebody dear or near to him. Let's play him for a patsy and then, get something out of it.
Then all of a sudden you open that door. Then you open that door, you can't close.
Yep. And as soon as you open that door, you can't close it hardly. So that's exactly.
Box, yeah. I ain't saying I'm right or nothing. That's just my opinion. But I don't mess with that.
Yeah, I don't mess with anything like that. We're reaching out to them. I'll talk to these folks. I'll talk to these folks, but inviting them in to do, that's one thing that you have not heard anybody do is read me while I'm on the air. I don't allow that stuff. That's no way, no how.
Oh, yeah. The tarot deck and all that stuff. Yeah.
No.
Now, did your near-death experience come during your accident? Or?
My near-death experience occurred after 7 days after my accident. You know, I had necrotizing fasciitis, that flesh-eating bug that took over and took my left leg, and I barely remember that day. That I said, "Hey sis, looks like Freddy Krueger got a hold of my leg. Can you come get me and take me to the hospital?" And it was right after Thanksgiving or something like that. I can't remember, but I remember turkey being involved that week, some way, somehow. But anyway,
Wow.
now the near-death experience happened after, I had, said my last, I thought, words on this earth to my sister and my brother at that time, and said, "Please forgive me." And I remember saying a little prayer, and then, said, "Hey, we gave you a lot of stuff to make you feel a little bit better, to get you prepped for the surgery." And I closed my eyes, and it went dark. I mean, the darkest dark you could ever hope or not hope to see or experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was after the accident, a week to the day actually. But yeah, strange. I hadn't thought about that in a couple months. But there you go.
Wow. I never experienced that, and hope I don't.
Well, we'll all go through something like a near-death experience. It may not be near-death. It may be the actual death thing, but I have no doubt in my mind everybody will go through that experience. Whether you come back or not, it's hard to say.
Well, it depends. So if you believe in the rapture, I guess you won't.
Oh, yeah. I have no doubt that life goes on after this. No doubt whatsoever.
Yeah, I believe that. So. But hey, I just wanted to. I heard you somebody talking about dreams. I'm like, I'll call Shawn and tell him about them too.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, like I said, I'm tired and drove for 3 hours. And,
oh yeah.
Trying to get some sleep here, maybe go deer hunting.
True enough. Well, BF Bud, I appreciate you calling in and telling us about your dream. That's a dream.
It's good to talk to you again, Shawn.
Well, great to talk to you. You're one of those interesting. Hey, I got to ask you about that, the jail stuff. And last time after I got you off the phone and hung up, and after the show, I was like, I should ask him about this. And right now, I can't remember what that question was.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them weird and probably some you can't tell on the air, and then some ghost stories and stuff from prison. 31 years, you see a lot of that crap.
Yeah, that one story that you told about the guy that killed somebody, and he was by himself, and he saw the person that killed him look up from underneath the bunk at him.
Where he looked over the top of the bunk. The ghost was on the top bunk. Yeah, that was really freaky.
Yeah, hells, bells.
The guy said he seen his hands kind of slide over the bed first, and then just his eyes and nose stuck over him. He can't. He said, well, I told you, but yeah, that's still. I don't think I'll ever forget that. That would have freaked me out.
Yeah, I would say he was I would be hard to explain to me that he wasn't in a straitjacket after that one.
That's where they sent him to, or the mental institution.
Mental ward.
I'll put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mental prison. So.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, he never came back.
Well, I could. After seeing that, and if he apparently was very guilty of that, saw the person they killed, and look at him and like, holy cow, yeah, all right, yeah, that would take away all my calm for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, just almost like electrical feeling in the air. It's like, wow, that's something right, man.
Yeah. Well, BF Bud, I'm glad that you called in, and call me next time that you got another story to share.
Well, I appreciate it, Shawn. Love your show, buddy.
I appreciate you, brother. Take care.
We'll do it.
All right. Bye. BF Bud, and I can't remember, it's been a few shows since he called in with that supernatural, where he was a guard in a jailhouse, and a guy killed somebody, and the person that he killed, its ghost, looked at him from up above him on the top bunk. He looked over at him, and he went nuts and went to the funny farm. Yes, that ain't a frickin' story to tell. Would you believe that is actually true or not? I have no problems believing that. No problems whatsoever. BF Bud, appreciate you being in alumni caller. For sure. Well, folks, I think, let's see, how long have I been doing this? 3 hours, 15 minutes. I think 3 hour show is quite enough for everything for a show. I think we'll put this into books, as Mogion Monster says, after he does his show over there on Mogion Monster's live streams. I think he does them Tuesdays and Thursdays. No, Tuesdays and Fridays, I believe. Thursday. We may do one Thursday. Well, anyway, after he says he's, we'll put this in the books as done, I think I'm done with this one. But definitely go over to Dark Waters channel over on the YouTube and the IamDarkWaters.com. Let me do something real quick. Well, I'm trying to act like I'm doing this professionally. And pull up Dark Waters over there on his YouTube side. Well, let's go to IamDarkWaters.com, and then there he is. Let's pop that up. Go to IamDarkWaters.com and subscribe over there if you like certain content. Horror narration at its best. Better than you get over here on YouTube. Go to IamDarkWaters.com. You'll get more there than YouTube will allow over here. Also, dogmancams.com. That project is growing. I think one camera's up right now over at the Vault of Nightmares backyard, and I think we're going to have a watch party probably sometime periodically. Ad lib by Dark Waters himself and DDoS and whoever else has got control over that cam on their respective YouTube. Dogman Cams and Dark Waters. Both of those. I don't know if Vault of Nightmares will actually have a live feed, but you will catch him on camera for sure. And then we got the Fringe FM, folks. The Fringe FM. Let me pull that up. I will be live Saturday nights. I've been doing that for the past 2 weeks. And last week I was #1 on the paranormal radio app under the Fringe FM flag. KTLKDB, the Fringe FM. Not on there tonight, but I will be this Saturday night. But, dear God, wow. All right, folks. I think I'm done. So let's close this out with a prayer. Dear God in heaven, thank you for today. Thank you for this show. Thank you for the folks that have called in and participated or will participate and listen to this show. I beg and plead that you protect each and every one of them and help those that are in need of your touch. Either healing their soul or healing their body, their spirit, their mind. I plead the blood of Jesus Christ on each and every one of them. And I rebuke everything that is evil, dark, satanic, demonic, negative, extraterrestrial, interdimensional, extra-dimensional, out for the ruins of souls of man. I hereby plead the blood of Jesus Christ and rebuke those things in the name of Jesus Christ. Protect those that listen to this show and those callers that have called in or have called in. I pray that each and every one of them has a better day tomorrow, a more prosperous day tomorrow, and each and every day from this point forward. Thank you, dear God, for this show. Thank you for giving me the ability to do this. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Folks, I appreciate you. Definitely go over to IamDarkWaters.com. Dark Waters channel over there on YouTube. I'll be there Saturday night, 7-9 p.m. Central Time. And holy cow, we'll do this over again. This weekend, Halloween week, is Occupy Halloween, as Dark Waters has named this weekend. So go over there. You'll see me over there. You'll hear me over there at least. But you never know what you're going to get when you have Unscreened Open Lines on Chasing the Truth in the Dark Waters channel. And that's about it, folks. God bless you, and I'm out of here.
Do ghosts really exist? Are we alone? Is there life after death?
It looks like a giant ape with a man's face.
We've done some testing to determine if it is a synthesizer or not.
Just starting to come at me.
It's very difficult to do with the system. This is what it actually is.